The world's population keeps growing and growing. At what point does it finally snap and we just can't hold any more people? Find out on today's Twisted 10.
What down, Joe?
What down, Joe?
What's up, guys? What's going on?
Welcome to another episode of The Twisted 10. What down, Joe is a throwback to our good friend, Hemp Man, who came in and hosted the top places to get a bite to eat in Chicago.
He says it too so naturally.
He does it.
Yeah.
What down, Joe?
He does
It's
it.
I
like,
actually
like
listened-
it's natural vernacular for him.
I listened to his episode trying to find, I didn't listen to all of it. I was trying to find the soundbite to grab that what down, Joe, out of hemp. So the bumper one was okay, but he goes, yo, what down, Joe, this is hemp. He goes into it too quick, so it's a hard break. So I gotta find the right audio bite to tie into our mixer. But that's gonna be a sound effect just like this, you know.
Man, we need to remove those buttons from him. For
No.
Gosh, you have way too much power over there.
I do. I'm sorry. So welcome to another episode of The Twisted 10. I'm Adam. I am not your host tonight, sitting over on the very luxurious fake leather torn apart couch.
Hey, it's not fake leather. It's bonded leather. There's some sort of difference.
I don't even think it's cow.
And I am also not your host tonight.
I'm Ron, and I am your host, but I didn't bring a list. No, I'm just kidding. I am your host.
Top 10 things Ron
Top
made
10
up.
things Ron made up on the
spot.
fly.
Let
Yep.
me Google some shit real quick. First 10 things to come up on Google. That's my list
Didn't
tonight.
you guys say pre-Ron, PR, that you guys had somebody come on and do a show kind of like that once?
T.S. Madison's was a little bit that way.
That's who it was.
She did the top 10, what was it, sexual taboos or something, but it was completely...
And would you try them?
Oh, yeah, and would you try them?
was the
It was
big thing.
completely like ad hoc. You could hear her saying, all right, so what else? What's the next one that's more? And then she would come up with the next one. And of course, we would expand on it and talk about it.
Oh,
but,
okay. Interesting.
Yeah, that's the first time
You
I've
have
ever...
to really know a lot about sexual taboos to be able to do that on the fly.
Listen, T.S.
She did.
Madison, she knew her shit. she knew quite a bit.
She is a, oh my goodness, what is
A
she called?
connoisseur of the taboo.
A no-op transgender woman who
Partial op.
who refuses to get rid of her dick.
Yeah, we're correct. Yeah.
What is it that Adam taught me once a long time ago?
How to tuck your dick into your ass?
No, somebody else.
Different night?
What was the guy from Silence of the Lambs taught me that? What the hell is it? Buffalo Bob. He
Yeah,
taught me
Buffalo
that.
Bill?
Buffalo Bill. That's
Buffalo
who it was.
Buffalo Bob. He's the guy that sells Frankie's wings and things down the
there you
road. That's Buffalo Bob.
You taught me that there are no chicks with dicks, but there are dudes with boobs. Right? Didn't you teach me that?
I'd like to sound... that's good enough. I want to take credit. Yes, I did.
I think you
Yes.
did.
I totally heard you say that. I've heard it, Adam.
Have you? Okay.
Yep, it's happened.
That's funny and insensitive. How dare you? I never said anything of the sort.
I wanted to say it, but blame it on someone else. That was the whole point. I really don't know if you told me that or not.
You're a master of the microphone, sir.
Oh, yes.
That's fucking cool.
I have a little bit of news. It's on behalf...
I will
Living
say,
Podcariously news flash segment. Do I need
Do we
to
have-
hit the
do we
button?
have that?
Josh is actually holding this weird looking kind of grayish thing.
It's a relic?
It's made of paper. I don't know. What is
Did you get
that
that
you're
at a
holding?
Smithsonian?
It's a relic from another era. It's called a newspaper.
Yeah, like I haven't seen one of those in years. That's
How
pretty
inefficient.
amazing.
You can't swipe.
I know.
Yeah, I can't swipe right on the classified ad. Oh, I like her. Oh, wait a minute.
So I've been meaning to bring this newspaper in for
Yeah,
a
that was
for a
perfect.
long time.
Snooze paper.
This newspaper. But this newspaper is dated January 3rd of 2020. If that tells you how long I've been holding on to this.
Ancient.
All right.
I know. So whatever. I guess at time of recording, about a year old.
I'm more impressed that you get the newspaper.
I don't at all. This is the Telegraph from Macon. This is actually from our friend Tall Trey.
Tall Trey Comedy.
Yes, he gave me this a long time ago, and we did talk about this on the show. But since I forgot to bring it in forever, I'm just doing him the solid of bringing it up again.
Oh, cool.
Because this is the Macon Telegraph, where Trey is on the front page.
Oh, nice.
So this is
dude.
now, it's in the studio. It's our studio decor. It's just been like on my desk in my office hanging out. I just keep forgetting. I set it out of my way. So it was out of my way, but then I kept fucking forgetting. Like the amount of times I've gotten home, sat down on my desk, looked up and been like, God damn it. It's been
Finally
bad.
remembered it. When we finished the studio, so part of the studio decor is going to be our friends' shows, our other podcasts that we've either guested on or they've guested here. We've got either merchandise, T-shirts, signatures, something like that. We've got a Tall Tray Comedy shirt
I'll
hanging in the
have something
hallway.
next week.
Yeah, I know.
hang
You
as well.
teased it. You
I
next
teased
episode,
it, but it
yeah.
just came in like 2 hours ago. So
Next-
I have to do it the next time.
Oh, your next list, not
My
next week.
next list, not this
Alright, cool.
list.
You going 2 in a row?
You can.
I'll do it if you want.
If
If,
you're-
people aren't
Ooh.
sick of me, I would do two.
Adam
two
could
in a
use
row.
another week.
But then,
Fuck you.
but then I'm off for like a month.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, that would
Okay.
be 4 weeks, 2 and 2 for me
Yeah,
and
there
Josh,
you
yeah.
go. Okay, cool.
But I admit, when he gave this to me, I talked to him about it, and I never actually like looked at it. The newspaper as a whole. I read his article, and it's really neat just talking about him building the comedy scene, of course, before the world shut down, beginning of last year. But yeah, he built up the comedy scene for him. So looking at the newspaper, though, I noticed a couple of interesting front headlines that I just wanted to bring up.
Oh, boy.
So whatever tracing though, just to his tagline, since he's the most important. Start the year with a laugh. Expect a lot of laughter Friday night when comedians take over Rigby's entertainment complex. So that actually got put on hold for a while. I think it's back together. Just again with everything last year. But
Is that the room where I always see Trey standing in front of what looks like a painting of like Super Mario World behind him?
it
We'll put you on the spot. You might not know that.
no. That's
Or is that a different comedy club?
it's a different. That's actually not a comedy club. It's a barcade. I've actually been there to that one
cool.
you're talking about. Yeah, we went there and they have like really cheap drafts and you can go and just like put in a few bucks and they're like old school arcade cabinets and it's just a room full of it's a barcade. So it's a lot of fun there. But no, I don't remember the name of it though. But not Rigby's. But some of these other titles, drones flying in the night. Unidentified drones, lots of them, are flying in precise formations over the Colorado and Nebraska prairie.
Sounds like The Onion is what this.
It really does. But I don't know how I missed this. This has been on my desk for literally a year. Police chase ensues after man allegedly steals sex swing. Front page news in the Macon Telegraph.
Wow, Macon's really the happening place.
Was it a new sex swing or a used sex swing? Was he going for the nostalgia and the smell, maybe? Or was he just wanting a new sex swing?
Is that like the UK Daily Mail or like it feels very
We get one of those around
New York?
here. There's a
isn't
Space
New York
Coast
Post
Daily, too.
kind of that way? I think New York Post
Oh,
is
dude, I don't
kind
know.
of gimmicky, if you will, in their articles and things like that.
Yeah, well,
They
I could-
talk about real stuff, but it's like, I don't know, it's got a little bit of a hook to it, kind of like some of this stuff.
Clickbaity.
Yeah, it's clickbaity
It's
newspaper.
clickbaity newspaper. I don't know
Yeah.
what the term would be before. I guess just enticing headlines. I guess
Yes.
they probably gave it a better title since they got to label it themselves.
If you used to be a newspaper editor, if you're 95 years old and listen to the show,
Ron, nobody
Tell us-
95 listens to our show.
tell us what that you used to call stuff that you would put on there that would get people to buy and read your newspaper.
I don't know.
Yeah, I'm sure there was something.
There's a
Yes.
term.
So
Cool.
Trey, I'm sorry I took forever to bring it in. I also have a little bit more. I brought in the box
Nice.
from the big fun reveal we're going to get to make later from Manscaped.
Yeah,
So I brought it in for the studio.
Our listeners know it's a huge
So big.
piece. It's a huge deal for us. So you hear sponsorships from podcasts all the time, I'm sure, but this is a big deal for us. This is a national sponsor, and we get to do something after part of our show's done. We get to announce something live on the air that is releasing today from Manscaped. So
yeah.
and they're using us to help launch this cool new item. So
I'm sure we're the only podcast that will be talking about
when they developed this item, they thought, you know who would be the perfect test market for our brand new multi-million-dollar of investment in this? The Twisted 10. Those
Yes.
boys know what they're doing.
Yeah,
They
exactly.
Got it. They are the
Yeah,
ones.
we are the ones.
So stay tuned for that. You'll hear some cool plugs for Manscaped. The only thing we'll say right now is manscaped.com. Use the code word Twisted10, all capitals, no space, for 20% off any of your merchandise.
And free worldwide shipping.
Free worldwide shipping.
Yes, free worldwide shipping.
It sounded like you said free Rolodex shipping.
Free Rolodex shipping. If they sell Rolodex, you get free shipping on them.
It's right next to the newspapers.
All right. So, Ron, I know you're hosting. And just before, since we're on it, and before I let it get away from us, big thank you to the Twisted Council.
Absolutely.
You guys are awesome. Thank you for supporting the show, hanging out, participating. We appreciate the feedback and just, again, you guys being a part of it. And to those listening on our live stream right now on Discord, you guys are awesome. If you want to get on the live stream, twisted10.com, there's a link to it. Just pulls you into Discord. Don't need an account. It's free. Don't need to download anything. Just click the link, go in, give them a name, come in, hang out. Tell us how you like the show. And yeah, then of course, what's on the list? I got my big print idiot list, so I don't forget.
That's nice. Real quick, for the Twisted Council, what do they get that a normal listener wouldn't get?
And I guess I need a bigger print idiot list.
You jumped over Twisted Council.
I did.
The Twisted Council are a unique, eclectic group of Twisted 10 listeners.
Good word.
You like that? You like eclectic?
Is that a word?
It is.
Challenge me. Come on.
No.
Ron, stop challenging me.
I did. You know, I've challenged you once or twice and nailed you both times. I'm like two for the last two.
It's true, I watched.
You nailed me, but you didn't. You son of a bitch! You stole my thunder there. You nailed me, but you didn't disprove the word.
Was this? You ruined that whole. Yeah, done.
Nailed me. No, he stole my thunder.
Just keep talking about what you were going to talk about,
right.
Josh. Save Adam now while he drowns.
All right, I'll save it. The Twisted Council, they have access to what's called the after show. It's a council only after show. It's 30 minutes to an hour long, and it's less on the rails than the regular show.
Very much less on the rails. Yeah.
We've got a format here. We got a list and we got a topic, and we kind of adhere to that. The after show is us with less filter, and it goes just to them, so we don't have to worry about hosting platform rules and saying something we shouldn't.
Yeah, exactly. Not that we do. I mean, we say just as bad things on here. It's Josh, you're 100% right. There's no
less
format.
Structured, obviously.
Yeah, there's no format in there. We just talk, we banter back and forth, so you get bonus. So that's for the people who really love our personalities and they're listening because of us, not the content. Like 3 of them, they are the ones who want to go listen to the council's after shows.
Definitely.
That's what they listen
So if you're the person when you heard I'll be hosting 2 shows in a row and said to yourself, well, I'm not fucking listening to the next 2 shows,
skip.
Probably that's not where you want to be.
That's awesome. No. Anyway, all that's twisted10.com, all the details. But
tonight in the after show, just so you know, I'm going to be talking about one of my wife's rivals and how she's fucking up my life. There's a little teaser.
Dude, I can't wait to hear about that. I mean, not I don't want to hear about your life being fucked up, but I really am very interested. That was a great tease.
There you go.
I might stick around for that after show.
That's what she said. All right.
It is.
We ready to get into the show, Ron?
Yeah.
Let's do it.
All right, tonight, we have a lot to talk about.
Yeah, that's what we titled the
I don't want to overdo this. But guys, we might be in big trouble here.
Oh.
Trouble's coming. Or you won't believe number 1. Maybe we're not.
What?
Yes.
I'm so confused.
We're already here. You don't have to clickbait us.
Oh, okay. Yeah, well, I mean, I thought you guys were getting ready to leave. Okay.
I'll say.
Tonight is top 10 facts about human overpopulation.
Ooh.
Awesome.
So I originally started
awesome.
to create this list as... Here's what happens in 2070. Here's what happens in 2150. Here's what happens in 2342. Number 1, I really couldn't find information that specific because nobody had really thought about kind of, pushing that out or forecasting that. And secondly, as I discovered some information, I realized why that doesn't really exist. And we'll get to that as we read this list.
This is an interesting kind of a sprinkling of existentialism.
Now, some of this list is
just don't listen to me, I guess.
Some of this list, I'd say the first...
You still didn't.
First half of this list, I'm ignoring you. The first half of this list is, are you trying to pour bourbon into your 16-ounce Coke bottle?
That's an interesting first half.
Going on here?
It's an interesting first half of the list there, Ron.
And that is how we kept the population under control in the early 1920s.
Hang on a minute. This is going into Discord. Let me take a picture of Josh
Yes.
literally pouring
Well, right now he's just trying to hold his Coke and get it open. Probably be easier to put the Coke bottle down, but
this is worth the interruption to the show because this is going to be some talent if you can do this.
Yeah, if you can do it without spilling. It's best to do it before you're drunk. All right, there he goes. The pour is happening. Oh, almost I had a slip there. Oh, there we go. He found the center.
Here's the funniest part is I'm zoomed in on his Coke and his bourbon, and it's right. The backdrop is his balls.
Oh, there.
I
like
his
that.
hairless balls. You see what I did for our sponsor?
I do.
You see?
You have
good job.
No idea.
Are you going to show us?
I mean, I'd look.
You want? You want?
I'll look. I mean,
I'd look. Yeah. I always look.
I'll look. Anyway. Okay.
All right, I'm putting this up in Discord as you continue talking about
The first half of this list is more...
Ignore me again, Josh.
It's more technical, right?
He's in charge.
Yeah,
I'm in charge. I mean, were you saying something? I have ignored you twice. You're right. I'm sorry.
Not
I
even
was talking and like focusing on how like let's transition.
If there's one thing I know about you, Ron, and the listeners, sorry, we're procrastinating.
I don't listen for shit.
We're procrastinating. No, it's you do, but you have to be focused. If you are
100%.
reading, like if you're in your phone or if you're looking at your computer, there is nothing going on in the world around you. It all shuts down.
I'm the type of person that focuses on whatever they're focusing on, and I have no ability to even hear what other people are doing, saying what is going on. If I'm reading something, I'm focused on that. If I'm watching something, I'm focused on that. If I'm hearing a conversation, I'm focused on that. It's just kind of how I am. So, which can be a good and bad thing. Anyway, let's get on to it. Top 10 facts about human overpopulation. Number 10. Biodiversity loss and the Holocene extinction. Human overpopulation, continued population growth, and overconsumption are the primary drivers of biodiversity loss and the sixth and ongoing mass species extinction. So right now, we're considered to be in the sixth mass extinction.
You've talked about that
planet.
in the past on some of your other...
Yeah, a little bit. Jared Diamond, who I will mention later, he has actually a book. I think it's called The Sixth Extinction or Sixth Mass Extinction, something like that. I encourage you to go check it out. I've never read the whole thing, but I've read kind of through it back when in my bookstore days. Present extinction rates may be as high as 140,000 species lost per year due to human activity.
140,000 species per year?
Per year.
So the majority of these are microscopic or...
Oh, of course, yeah. Plants, everything.
Or,
anything living from... Mike, you said microscopic
Mike.
to...
Who the fuck's Mike?
Yeah, from Mike to Joe. Present extinction rates... Oh, I said that already. What down, Joe? The Global Assessment Report on Biodiversity and Ecosystem Services released by IPBES in 2019 says that human population growth is a significant factor in biodiversity loss. The report asserts that expanding human land use for agriculture and overfishing are the main causes of this decline. The 2020 World Wildlife Fund's Living Planet Report posits. P-O-S-I-T-S? Posits. That's never heard of that word, actually.
It's not a word.
I read this before. It's not a word.
I challenge you. What's it mean?
I don't know. Ask this. I don't know.
Posits is like attests to something.
Yeah.
Posits like proposes, maybe?
No, different. No? Posits is propose. Yes, proposes.
How about we just put says?
There you
says,
go.
That's 68%.
Best replacement. That's good.
That 68% of vertebrate wildlife has been lost since 1970 due to human actions, including overconsumption, population growth, global trade, and intensive farming. That's some really pissed off farmers really hoeing real hard. Sorry. Some eminent scientists include Jared Diamond, I mentioned him before, and E.O. Wilson contend that population growth is devastating to biodiversity. Wilson has suggested that when Homo sapiens reached a population of 6 billion, their biomass exceeded that of any large land-dwelling animal species that had ever existed by over 100 times. And that...
So that wouldn't mean by 6 billion if it's by 100 times.
Yeah. And that we and the rest of life cannot afford another 100 years like this. So there's a little tease.
Let's see.
Number 10 into the kind of stuff that we're going to be talking about.
Let's see if either one of you know this trivia question. I had to look it up to get the actual definition. I knew kind of what it was, but I didn't know what it was. During that, you said during our current Holocene. Do you know what it is? Ron?
That's
Don't
like
say
the
it yet,
period.
but-
Is that the
oh,
period
well.
of time we're in? I mean,
Well,
like they have like
Holocene is
the
the
different
current.
names for the periods of time through Earth's
Yes,
history. It's
they
the
technically
one
call
we're
it
in.
an epoch or epoch. It's the amount of time that we're in right now. It began, ironically, 11,500 years ago. And if you remember, I don't know if you guys listened to the Hysteria 51.
I
Give
did
them a plug.
absolutely.
That's about the same time that natural disaster happened, where there were massive floods in several locations around the world. So something had to have happened. They predict it was a asteroid or a meteor or something like that had struck Earth and kind of threw the Earth into a weird situation for a while. But basically, since then to now is the current epoch or Holocene that we're in.
There you go. All right.
I didn't know that. I learned something.
Number 9.
Number 9.
Number 9.
Food. A 2001 old report, of course, United Nations report says population growth is the main force driving increases in agricultural demand, but
No shit.
But most recent experts' assessments are cautiously optimistic about the ability of global food production to keep up with demand for the foreseeable future. That is to say, until approximately 2030 or to 2050, which ain't that far away, guys. Assuming declining population growth rates, however, the observed figures of 2016 show an actual increase in the absolute number of undernourished people in the world. 815 million in 2016 versus 770 million in 2015. So bottom line, they're saying
100 million a year.
That's 100 million. Well, it's about 40 million more in 1 year of undernourished people. The FAO estimates that these numbers are still far lower than the nearly 900 million registered in 2000. So it's actually gone down since 2000. Current industrial
let me
food...
take a guess. Wait, don't say it. Let me take a guess. I think I have a theory of what brought that number down from 2000 to 2016. Can I
don't
guess?
want you to take that guess.
Oh, because it's going
it
to
could
affect
step
something later?
on some stuff later on. But hold that thought.
I knew it.
Just in case. Okay, just in case. I believe you if you say, I knew it.
All right.
And then I want you to say, Josh, that's bullshit. You didn't know that.
I don't think he does.
I don't think that's awesome. Setting it up
He
perfectly.
can't answer.
don't know
so
three-letter acronym.
Yeah,
We'll just
there
go
you
with
go.
there.
Current industrial food and agricultural practices are expected to not be sufficient for future food security. Mismanagement of phosphorus, wild fish stocks, water, and topsoil may lead to decline in food system productivity in the near future, especially when combined with changes caused by climate change. At the same time, the Food and Agricultural Organization food supplies will need to be increased by 70% by 2050 to meet projected demands.
70%?
So we're seeing a theme here. Number 1.
Number 10.
No, I'm just saying number 1.
Oh.
Okay, number 10. But the first theme is obviously the mass extinction of other life, right, due to overpopulation.
We're good at that.
And number 9 is my favorite. My favorite so far.
Food.
We got to feed more people because there are more people.
There are more people to eat, so we need to make more food.
I'm glad that some scientist somewhere got paid $500,000 a year to write down the most obvious statement in the world.
Guys, if you're feeding a family of 5 with a turkey, you can't feed a family of 10 with that same turkey. You need a bigger turkey
or more turkeys.
Or 2 turkeys. Really,
By the way, I put your picture up into the lobby.
That's
So
where
you
we
can check that
are
out in
there.
Discord.
As far as this first half of the more technical pieces of human overpopulation.
I recently learned a fact about human food production. And just so I don't step on it, does any of your list have to do with nitrogen?
No, not that I recall.
Okay. In the 20s, I believe, was when the technology was invented to harvest nitrogen out of the air, compress it and pull out nitrogen, which allowed us to create modern fertilizer, which is the reason we can even sustain our population today. One guy accidentally discovered pressurized air and the gases.
You mean we don't just use cow shit? Manure?
But it was nitrogen is apparently incredibly rare in soil. And this farmer who figured out, hey, if I can pull the nitrogen out of the air, because we knew that at least 100 years ago, then I can use it in my plants because they need nitrogen to live.
Do you know what percentage of our air that we breathe is nitrogen?
Oh, I don't know the number.
14.2.
It's
Way
the
higher.
majority.
No idea.
I don't know.
Approximately 78% of the air, which you would consider air at sea level, is nitrogen.
I was going to say 14.2 is not nitrogen. No, I was kidding.
Actually, it's 1.21
gigawatts.
Nitrawatts. No, and I used to. So I lost a lunch bet on this one time. So forgive me for tangenting your show for just a second.
No, that's what this show is about.
There was a gimmick back in the early 2000s that turned into a real thing later, and I ended up losing a bet on it. Have you ever been driving by like an auto mechanics repair shop or something like that, or even a tire shop, and see 78% nitrogen-filled tires? You ever seen that? That's just fucking compressed air. That's all that is. It's just air compressed. 78% nitrogen is what you breathe. Well, I lost a lunch bet on this at one point because it's somebody attested that no, what they're using is pure nitrogen.
Did they pause it?
They posited, and I posited that nitrogen it's indifferent. It makes no difference if you have nitrogen, pure nitrogen, or 78% nitrogen used in your tires. And sure enough, I lost. Apparently, there's some science behind how the air could possibly leak out of your tire, but whatever.
Long story short, I'm confused. There is or is not a difference, whether it's just regular old air or nitrogen.
Nitrogen in your tire is supposedly better than compressed air. 78% nitrogen. Pure nitrogen is supposed to be better inside your tires. I don't know why.
You don't know why. You don't know
heat
the reason.
dispersion or density of the air inside. I have no clue. But
I've never
it's
actually seen that about tires with nitrogen. I never.
Now that I pointed it out, you're going to drive by an auto shop.
Oh,
on your
I'll
way home.
see it
You'll
tomorrow.
See nitrogen filling here. Yeah.
Tomorrow I'll see it for sure.
You know, that's kind of a big deal. I've known Adam since 2007 now, and I've only ever won a single lunch bet against Adam.
It is a big
It's
deal
tough.
to me. Lunch bets
It's such a monumentous.
It's tough.
moment.
Adam is
I
the
remember
king
where we
of
were.
information.
I remember where we were, what we bet over, what Adam's stance was. I remember all of it. That's how big of a deal it was to our friendship.
That was a hibachi lunch I had to pay for you one time, wasn't it?
If you want to just prove him wrong about stuff, just talk about finances. Crush him.
I know better than to bet on finances.
I just fucking with you, dude.
I won't rat him out. It was a bet about Costa Rica.
I forgot what it was.
We were at a restaurant on Satellite. The bet was basically, does Costa Rica touch the Gulf of Mexico and the Pacific Ocean?
Oh, yeah.
And I don't want to rat on you because this was a long time ago, but the stance was that it does not. And I said, it absolutely does. I was just there. And you said, no. And I said, great. My lunch is $18.
Yeah.
It's like,
land.
Remember that time 20 years ago when you were wrong about the Costa Rica thing? Those were the days.
That's
But
awesome.
I'm telling you, that's how big of a deal it is.
Josh knows you can't get me on. You can get me on finances and land because I'm not good at geography.
You know what I'm going to get you on, though? I'm going to get you on reining this back in.
There you
human
go.
overpopulation.
Nice.
All right.
Thanks for the tangent, Ron.
No problem. No, it was awesome. So like I said, it's what the show is all about. Why we always take 1 hour shows and make them into 2. Number 8. Environment.
Why'd you pronounce the N hard?
Because it's fucking there, and I just have to.
Yeah, but it's always been there.
Environment. You don't. Is it a silent N?
It is a silent N.
If you look at it phonetically,
100%.
Yeah,
phonetically.
Not even.
Oh,
a question.
phonetically is different. If you're pronouncing it phonetically correct.
No, if you look, go to the Webster and they show you how to pronounce it. Have we just been pronouncing it wrong all these years?
You know that big dinosaur with the wings that flies?
Pterodactyl?
Yeah. It's got a P in there.
Yeah, I know there's lots of words with silent letters.
I was just coming up with an example.
I'm just asking specifically about, when I get really sick and I have pneumonia. Okay.
I'm doing it. I'm looking it up.
Okay, you do it while I read.
Doing it well.
Yeah. Okay. Number 8, environment. Overpopulation has substantially adversely impacted the environment of Earth, starting at least as early as the 20th century.
Industrial Revolution. That makes sense.
According to the Global Footprint Network. Dude, people just make shit up to have jobs.
Global Footprint Network.
Yes.
They track Sasquatch.
The GFN, I don't know. Today, humanity uses the equivalent of 1.5 planets to provide the resources we use and absorb our waste. I was so confused when I read that. I'm like, so are we getting half our shit from Mars? What are they talking about? There are also economic consequences of this environmental degradation in the form of ecosystem services attrition. Wow, that's a lot of big words. Scientists suggest that the overall human impact on the environment during the Great Acceleration, particularly due to human population size and growth, economic growth, overconsumption, pollution, and proliferation of technology, has pushed the planet into a new geological epoch. Isn't that what? Epoch. That was the word you used.
Oh, so they're saying we're in a different Holocene.
Known as the
Anthropocene.
Anthropocene.
We're in the Holocene.
Anthropocene. That sounds great.
I've had one or two of those.
You know what? You know what Anthropocene could use?
Really old pussy.
Manscaped.
Yes, absolutely. Womanscaped? No, I was good.
Not Manscaped.
Manscaped. The Anthropocene, further even in countries which have both large population growth and major ecological problems. It is not necessarily true that curbing the population growth will make a major contribution towards resolving all environmental problems. Many studies link population growth with emissions and the effect of climate change. The global consumption of meat is projected to rise by as much as 76% by 2050. Seeing that 2050 year, a big theme in here, 2050.
76%.
By 2050.
By 2050, are they predicting 76% population growth?
They're
or a lot more people just going to eat some cows.
Of meat. Yeah, consumption of meat to rise 76% by 2050.
Not challenging your information. I'm sure it's all vetted, but that's just an odd rise in just meat consumption. That's a strange one to me.
As the global population surges to more than 9 billion, resulting in further biodiversity loss and increased GHG emissions.
What's GHG?
Don't know, man.
GHG, greenhouse gases.
Right, thank you.
Did you find anything on the correct way to pronounce environment?
We're both right. We're all right.
Oh, I hate those cop-outs. I want someone to be right and someone to be wrong.
There's a reason why we're both right. Technically, by the definition, environment is an abstraction from the term environ. Like this studio is our environ right now. So to call it the environment is correct. However, it's been used, it was used incorrectly for so long with the second N being silent, environment, that it's just an American accent thing.
You pronounced it, though.
So it's an Americanized,
it's weird to
so
put
it's the Americanized way to say.
It is.
Okay.
I also generally drop the second N. I have to think about it to say environment. It's weird. I don't know.
You can say environment, and it's maybe right, but it sounds weird as shit.
It sounds weird to us, but apparently that's the traditional pronunciation.
That's like the whole, like the old show, Neanderthal. Everyone says Neanderthal, but Neanderthal. They're both right, but people said Neanderthal for so long. It's just like the way Americans say it now, so it's just what we go with. But Neanderthal is actually...
Unique dialect and colloquialisms have dominated our speech patterns.
That sounded like something from like a boring-ass audiobook that you just repeated.
Do you guys know the comedian Trevor Noah? He's hosting one of the late night show. I think it's Late Show or the Late Show, whatever.
The English guy.
South African.
No, I don't know him.
You're a little off there.
But he has a joke in one of his first stand-ups that he did, and he said, being South African, he said, it's pronounced zebra. You don't have them. You can't name them.
That's awesome.
Nice.
Awesome. Okay, that was number 8.
Number 8.
Number 7. Land.
Oh, okay.
The World Resources Institute states that agricultural conversion to croplands and managed pastures has affected some 3.3 billion hectares. That's a lot of people named Hector.
little larger than an acre.
Yeah. Look at you. You know so much random stuff.
The rest of the world uses that measurement system.
And we use acres, and everybody else uses hectares.
It's like 1.25 acres, I think, is a hectare.
I don't actually know the conversion.
Of course, it would never be 1-to-1 because it just never is, right? Roughly 26% of the land area, all totaled agriculture, has displaced 1/3 of temperate and tropical forests and 1/4 of natural grasslands. 40% of the land area is under conversion and fragmented, less than 1/4 primarily in the Arctic, and the deserts remain intact. Usable land may become less useful through salinization, deforestation, desertification. Sounds like looks like desertification, but I don't think it's desertification. That's what it looks like. Erosion and urban sprawl. The development of energy resource or sources may also require large areas. For example, the building of hydroelectric dams.
Oh, I apologize. 1 hectare is 2.5 acres.
Thus, available useful land may become a limiting factor. By most estimates, at least half of
Did you stroke out a
cultivable? I mean, that's I
cultivatable?
Cultivatable?
Cultivatable.
But it's not vatable. It's vable. It's cultivable.
Cultivable.
Yeah,
Cultivable.
see, you pronounce it like me, like a moron.
Get the dick out of your mouth.
Yes, they got land is already being farmed, and there are concerns that the remaining reserves are greatly overestimated. Some countries, such as the United Arab Emirates and particularly the Emirate of Dubai. I'm so glad I didn't say Dubai.
I'm not.
That's some
I'm
shit
not.
I would do.
I'm not nearly as glad that you didn't get it wrong.
They study the current over there.
Have constructed large artificial islands or have created large dam and dike systems.
Not touching
Pause
it.
for effect. Not touching that dike.
You can have that beach ball back. You can take it back.
Yes, like the Netherlands, which reclaim land from the sea to increase their total land area. Some scientists have said that in the future, densely populated cities will use vertical farming to grow food inside skyscrapers.
Yeah, they've actually already started doing the vertical farming in some of the bigger cities in the United States. They've got, it's amazing to see. It's greenhouses basically with artificial lighting, and it's
stacked
rows
on top of each other.
Yeah, it's amazing looking.
The notion that space is limited has been decried by skeptics who point out that the Earth's population of roughly 6.8 billion, I think we're a little bit over that
We're
now.
over 7 billion now, aren't we?
People could comfortably, this is pulled from different sources and different places, so it's on different timelines too, could comfortably be housed an area comparable in size to the state of Texas in the United States. So there you go. So land. So it sounds like...
6.8 billion people could comfortably be housed inside an area the size of Texas.
Stack it,
Oh,
pile it high and watch it fly.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean?
Gotcha.
So we can figure out the land. It sounds like this is, if anything, we can find solutions to.
So this is the one we can fix.
Is one that we probably have about the vertical farming and just, living in high rises and shit like that. A lot of times when you see stuff that touches on the future, Ready Player One, that's a good example. Another one would be the more recent Judge Dredd. I think it's just called Dredd.
It's called Dredd, yeah.
Yeah,
Altered Carbon.
Such a great fucking
one.
movie, by the way. If anyone hasn't seen it,
So good.
super underrated movie.
The new Dredd is underrated.
So fucking
But
good.
there's a catch. There's an asterisk to that recommendation. You're going to watch another 90s movie. It's important because you're signing up for Judge Dredd 2. It's not like they didn't reinvent the world. They didn't reinvent technology.
It's like a continuation of the original.
But they did such a killer
It's
job.
so good.
So much
It's
better
so
than the first
fucking
one.
good.
Oh, it's so good.
So good.
Really? That's a hell of a recommendation.
And the guy
out of
who
you guys.
plays Dredd is, and I don't remember his name. Is it I want to say Mark
I
Urban.
suck at this game.
Mark Urban, the guy on Shark Tank.
No, it's the guy
isn't
who
it Mark
played.
Cuban?
It's the guy
Close.
who played Dr. McCoy in the new iterations of Star Trek.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I can't remember his name. I'm sorry. He's such a good actor too. He's the one that plays Dredd. By the way, he was in another movie, really tangenting here, called The Loft. Go check it out. Fucking awesome movie. Okay, done talking about movies. Anyway, so the land thing sounds like we can fix that.
Here's my only concern with this. So the UAE has done some amazing things, like with their world islands and with their palm tree shaped islands and all this really amazing engineering that has gone into making sure homes over there don't fall into the fucking what sea is that? Black Sea?
I
Is
feel
that the
another
Black Sea?
lunch bet coming on.
Yeah, no, I would not bet geography or geometry.
Well, you lost the bet on
Anyway,
geography, so
whatever
you're
sea that
probably
is,
right.
Baltic Sea, no, whatever fucking sea that is, Mediterranean Sea, whatever it is. I'm gonna name them all and get one of them
The
eventually.
Black Sea?
I thought it was
I
the
don't
Black Sea. Anyway, they've done some amazing things. Here's the thing: they didn't need to. If they look southeast of them, there's nothing but fucking empty desert for hundreds and hundreds of miles. So they could have easily gone inland, but they didn't want to. They wanted to be unique and they wanted to be creative. I get it. I understand. I understand. The appeal is there, but it's not needed. That's the same way. If you look at any maps, any topological maps of anywhere in the world, with the exception of certain parts in India and maybe a few parts in the Middle East, like Oman, as an example. For the most part, the cities are very densely populated, but outside of the cities, you have hundreds and hundreds of miles, millions of these hectares available for cultivation or for habitation, either one. So I have always had a difficult time understanding that we're running out of land for humans to live on. That's just not the case.
But
There's
it's not
so
just
much.
living on, it's about
The cultivation.
cultivation.
I understand that. Climates affect what types of crops you can grow, and what I 100% understand that. But we don't. If UAE as an example, where Dubai was built and all this shit was done inside their ocean to create these houses and all this stuff, if they would have gone the other direction, they could have done the exact same thing and not had to spend the extra money engineering solutions into their ocean.
I have a feeling that and we're not there yet to the second half of this list, we might discuss some ways around this. Or will any of it even be necessary at all?
There was a word that you used, desertification. I've been mulling that over.
You said that correctly, I believe.
Thank you.
Desertification.
Because as I was reading it, I was like, it's like desertification? No, it's desertification.
I put it together after the couple of attempts that you made. I probably wouldn't have gotten it right the first time. So desertification, when I mulled it over a little bit, and I realized we have 2 examples of that in the world today that we can all look at. Adam, you and I, we've been to Baghdad. Did you know Baghdad used to be like super lush and green and beautiful?
Yeah.
Wasn't that like millions of years ago or recently?
Like thousands.
That was
that was Mesopotamia. That whole area over there was biblical paradise.
When you say thousands, you mean like 2,000, 10,000? I mean,
it has
big difference.
Well, timeline. Okay,
1,500 years ago, the desert wasn't as big as it is over there now.
That's recent. Yeah.
So that's something we can see today. We know it used to be beautiful, and honestly, I think it used to be even nice as recently as like 80 years ago. Baghdad used to be the center of education. It used to be a vacation spot for Americans. It used to be, before we created as people, not just one particular country, but before we created the mess that it is now. It used to be people used to go on vacation there because it was beautiful and amazing, and it was one of the most highly educated parts of the Eastern world, and it was so we can see that now. But also the Amazon, the rainforest in South America, we're pushing it back. So for starters, do you know what
deforestation?
Well,
we spoke of too, right?
It is deforestation,
and
which is going to cause desertification. So, do you know what defines a rainforest? This is kind of new information to me.
Actually,
I think I know.
Actually, I do not.
Can I take a shot at it?
Sure.
That give me a second. Let me think of the right way to say this. That the entire ecosystem that happens in that particular location is enough to allow for an entire water cycle to go through itself. So, for rainfall to occur, no, I don't know. Go, Josh.
Actually, you
gave it a good try. You gave it a good try.
The whole
Sounds like you were
ecosystem is circulating and just whatever.
Was that a true guess?
Yeah, 100%.
Because that was dead right. That's 100% correct.
Take that, Ron.
A self-sustaining.
I didn't dish you about it. I said it was a good try.
So the self-sustaining water cycle. And the fact that you said the water cycle in particular, that's what makes it a rainforest. It'll rain on itself, absorb all of that. When it dehumidifies itself, it all evaporates back up and it rains on itself. It creates that self-sustaining water cycle. There used to be the same thing in northern Africa and areas like Baghdad and stuff. So what we call the rainforest of the northern portions of South America, it's a weird sentence. We used to have that over in the east as well. And what is happening?
If you look laterally on the equator, if you follow the equatorial line, it's in the same location.
100%.
U.S. is in the same location as a lot of those places too that are complete desert now.
Yeah. So that's the big risk. That's the scary part about the deforestation that's happening down there. And whatever, they're trying to make money, make a living, put houses up, whatever. It's not my place. But the recourse is that if they cut too far back and it can't sustain its own water cycle, that rainforest will die. It's not even like there's no other source of rain for that band of the earth. If that rainforest loses its ability to sustain itself, done.
I also heard, I don't remember if this was from you, Josh, or from some maybe internet article, the So a lot of people claim, I say a lot of people, scientists have proven that how photosynthesis works and how plants absorb dioxides, whatever carbon dioxides, they emit oxygen. In a rainforest, in particular the Amazon, a lot of people have said if you chop down the Amazon, the world's oxygen supply is going to be harnessed. Well, the problem with it is that there's so much life that is in the Amazon that all of the oxygen that's produced by its trees is absorbed by the creatures and the people that are living in that location. So if the Amazon was suddenly to be gone, it wouldn't affect the rest of the world's air supply at all.
We'd be fine.
It would affect them,
We'd be
that
100%
location.
fine, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you're totally right.
See, Ron?
The
I told
number
you.
one producer in the world for oxygen is algae.
Nice.
And
What
it's
country is that?
Who's she?
I vote we rename the show from the Twisted 10 to Two Real Smart Guys and a Fuckwad. Okay.
Who's the fuckwad? Wait a minute. Hang on a
I'm
minute.
the fuckwad.
Oh.
Clearly.
I think
You
it
could
could
have
work.
left it as a mystery every show.
I don't think it's a mystery to the listeners.
Two real smart guys and a F-wad. I like it.
There we go.
I'm
Why
sorry,
did you
what-
say
what-
F-wad?
Well, because you couldn't market fuckwad. You could market
gotcha.
asterisk wad.
Again, two smart guys and an F-wad.
You're defining yourself there, Ron.
Yes.
All I gotta say is
sorry,
this.
what number are we on? now?
like a black and mild? Exactly.
Sorry, I needed to find a spot to do it. I'm gonna
Yeah.
play it every show at least once. All right.
Yes.
Gotta push it.
Good deal. Okay. Number 6.
Number 6.
Number 6.
Carrying capacity. This was a fun and interesting one.
Carrying capacity.
How many people can the motherfucking Earth hold?
Oh,
This has actually been predicted. This is kind of a fun one. This is
4 billion.
This is where, yeah. Whoops. This is where the list starts to take off. Many studies have tried to estimate the world's carrying capacity for humans. That is the maximum population the world can host. A meta-analysis of 69 such studies from 1694 until 2001 found the average predicted maximum number of people the Earth would ever have was 7.7 billion people.
When was that study?
The first one was in 1694, so you got to imagine their mindset then. With lower and upper meta bounds at, I did not quite understand this, at 0.65, so I don't know if that's like 65% of that number, and 98 billion people, respectively.
So that's by volume.
Yeah. They conclude recent predictions of stabilized world population levels of 2050. There it is again. 2050 exceeds several of our meta estimates of a world population limit. Advocates of reduced population often put forward much lower numbers. For example, Paul R. Ehrlich stated in 2018 that the optimum size of the global human population is between 1.5 and 2 billion. Geographer Chris Tucker estimates that, says Chris Tucker, he says 3 billion people, motherfuckers. Sorry. Geographer Chris Tucker estimates that 3 billion is a sustainable number. I didn't catch it the first time I read that it was Chris Tucker. Critics of overpopulation criticize. Totally, damn it. I threw myself off now. I don't know if I can finish
That
this.
was such a good Chris Tucker voice.
Good.
It was so good. I'm sorry.
I'm pulling that. That's going to be a promo.
When did Chris
good.
Tucker say? When did he say that we could only hold 3 billion people?
Let's see. Chris Tucker estimates that 3 billion is a sustainable number. Critics of it really wasn't a time. It's not about time. This is about.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm curious when he said it. If you have that, not a big deal.
It was 1999 on Def Comedy Jam.
It did not give me a date
Okay.
on when he said that. Good one. That's sorry. I just caught it. After I finished talking,
Your buffer
finished
filled
my
up
thought.
and you had to.
I had to kick something else out to insert what you said. Critics of overpopulation criticize the basic assumptions associated with these estimates. For example, Jade Sasser believes that calculating a maximum number of humanity which may be allowed to live while only some most privileged European former colonial powers are mostly responsible for unsustainable using up the earth is wrong. So a bunch of people who are consuming everything, right? This guy doesn't like the fact, like, well, you guys are the ones eating up all the resources. It's not us. That's kind of his mindset there. Mr. What is it? What was his name? Jade Sasser.
Jade Sasser. First name Jade, which is
Yes,
fucking cool.
Jade.
Last name sounds like you are really pissed off that somebody else is wearing your outfit.
Exactly. So I thought that carrying capacity, as I was doing research on this, like that was interesting. That 98 billion people number was like, holy shit, 98 billion people. That's nuts.
Gotta start building up.
Maybe we don't.
Maybe.
Well, if it's 98 billion and we're only at 7, we got some time. We don't have to worry about this shit. We're good.
Till 2050, according to everything we keep reading.
Wait, we're going to hit 98 billion by 2050?
Yes.
That's
no,
a
I'm
lot
just
of
kidding.
fucking...
No.
I'm on it. I'll be right back.
Andrea, pop out a couple more.
Yeah. There we go. So, so there you go. That is number 6, carrying capacity.
Nice, dude. This is a good list.
This is fun.
Man. Yeah. But I know, Adam, get ready to push your button there. And play us out into the break there with
Wait,
some,
are you talking about this button?
maybe play us out to the break with some true phonic. But before you do that, I really want to ask you some questions about your balls.
Oh, you liking the balls?
Yeah, I do.
You liking the balls?
I want to hear about how smooth and silky they are.
Silker
They are.
So it's no joke. So for our listeners, this is what we've been we hyped up at the beginning of the show. We have gone into an agreement with Manscaped, who's officially our national sponsor of the show, which is really cool. They have brought out a new product that literally launches the day we're recording this. In fact, we actually changed our recording day this week so we could air it in Discord as well.
Yeah, that was the reason.
Well, really,
no, I got you.
Out. We didn't want
it
to
worked
plug
out
it early.
perfectly. Yeah.
We would have to do a discredit to the listeners that do hop into Discord, like the few of you that are in there now. We couldn't really say anything about this on Tuesday if we had recorded then. Anyway, long story short, Manscaped has come out with this new product, and they shipped it to us.
Thank you, Manscaped.
Yeah,
It's true. And I used it. I went all in.
Yeah, I got a question for you about that because Josh put a picture in our private Discord, and I'll get to that. But it's called the Lawnmower 4.0, and it's their gentleman's groom like trimmer, ball trimmer, beard trimmer, hair, whatever you want to cut. Really,
it's groin grooming is what's on the box.
Groin.
That's their new slogan.
Groin
grooming. A much classier step up from your balls will thank you.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, but
so they did all sorts of new designs on this. It can get wet, which is kind of cool. It has a fucking torch flashlight, like this bright ass LED flashlight. And you know what?
Oh, that works for me because I have a real small dick.
No, it's on a microscope.
Oh, never mind. Damn it.
I've often thought about when I'm actually buzzing my balls. And usually what I use to shave my balls is what Andrea uses to cut my hair upstairs. It's not a good combination to go from balls to hair. Always hair to like head to balls first.
I just hope you would like clear it off,
Just
clean it off. Yeah, blow on it
good.
a little.
It's good
before you put it on your head.
But anyway, this thing's got a
weird to
fucking
me.
light on it, which is really, really cool. Josh put something in our Discord.
Yeah,
And let me ask you, so here's to paint the picture for the listener. It is Josh wrapped up in a towel. All right, so and it's just waist down. So all you see is like him holding the camera, looking down.
Don't forget my sick abs.
As if he was taking a dick pic without a mirror facing down, but no dick because he had a towel on.
Right, he's wrapped in the towel.
Very disappointing for starters. But beyond
kind of between his feet on the ground, what looks like on the floor is a dead chinchilla. That's the amount of hair that had to have come out of whatever the fuck you just shaved was ungodly. And I wanted to wait to ask you about this till we were live on air to put you on the spot. What the fuck did you do?
All right, that's fine. I know you guys know this. I've actually they chose the right term, manscape. I've been manscaping for a very long time. I don't know. It's just I don't know why I started doing it either. I've been doing it since before I've been having sex. Anyways, so
one thing leads to another.
I don't know why.
So since you were 25?
Yeah, give or take.
Having sex with other people, he didn't have to say.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Oh, yeah.
No, it's so that mound of hair. I took the challenge up, and I went all in. The thing on the box is skin safe technology, so I put the smallest guard on there. And by the way, that massive pile of hair was not just my balls hair. It was. I also
fucking Don King in a leg lock.
We're trying to sell a product here. Yes, it was.
Oh yeah. Sorry, it was all from my balls.
If you have that much hair coming off of your nuts, Josh, that's like a world record. It wasn't a massive amount of hair.
It was a lot. I've actually
It looks like me getting a haircut and you sweep it all in a pile, like a real haircut, like my head haircut.
That makes sense because it was a real haircut that I swept all into a pile.
There we go.
So that's what it was. But I took him up.
Butt hair?
I took him up. No.
You can trim that too with Manscaped products.
That's
by the way.
true. You could.
Did they have a butt trimmer?
Hang on. I wanted to push
all-in-one.
the skin safe I wanted to try it out. I put the smallest guard on, and I shaved everything. Okay, and I tried to nick myself, and that it was a painful, psychologically, a painful moment. Trying to actually catch a bit of skin in
is it like the same technology that's in those circular saws that once they detect a human finger is touching them, they shut off?
Shut off when at the detection of ball skin. Scrotum contact.
It's just like finger skin, just a little smellier. That's
a little smelly, a little wrinklier.
You know, it's impressive that you did that. I wouldn't do that. I trust the product to correct me from making an accident. All right, I trust it that much. This motherfucker goes at 7,000 RPM. Think about that for a minute. You've got that much friction of blades or ceramic style blades that are moving down there. I don't know if I want to trust that.
So the fact that it's ceramic is actually a really big deal. So in addition to that, I also cut my own hair. That's a big part of this. I've been cutting my own hair now. Oh man, when did we leave Basra? Was that 2012 or something? I don't know. They fucked my haircut up one time. And so I just shaved my head, and as I grew it back in, I started cutting my own hair.
You got a haircut in Basra.
I know. It was whatever. They were nice guys, but yeah, they fucked my haircut up. I walked in and said I wanted like a shorter.
Have you before you get a haircut somewhere? Have you looked around at the haircuts around that place?
I was on a base.
Saying.
I said I wanted it shorter than it is right now by a little bit, and I held up a hand motion. I was like, just a little, clean it up, and he said, okay, no problem, and just fucking cut my hair off, all of it.
That's awesome.
I came back to work that day, buzz cut. Anyway, so I've been cutting my hair for a long time. This ceramic blade actually makes a huge difference. I have generally been using cheap clippers for all of my hair cutting.
Heard.
Yeah, because I'm gonna go with frugal. I guess that's a nicer way than cheap.
Conservative,
but yeah,
financially
conservative. So honestly, I'm stoked to have like a nice set of clippers again. Because one, like I said, I intentionally tried to nick myself. I couldn't do it. I would have to like grab a fold of skin and shove it into the running blade to hurt myself.
Oh, keep going.
Yeah, it's not. But
oh, baby,
it was. So that was pretty cool. It's very
good.
quiet. That was nice. I wasn't masturbating.
Oh, I am.
Ron was. Ron
thinking
is right
about
now.
what you're shaving your balls.
But no, I was. I this is the first time I had actually used a Manscaped product. That's it's probably not the best going into a sponsorship showcase, but I'd never used them before. But they're pretty badass.
I'm just happy to have something that doesn't fucking give out halfway through me shaving my bush.
30 minutes in.
Ron's used to getting out the gasoline-powered weed eater. He used to have a 17-inch penis. Now it's anyway. No, yeah, that's cool. That's an excellent. What's the term you call it when somebody has used it and talks about it? There's
endorsement?
a term for not endorsement. Sure, let's go with endorsement.
Yeah,
it's an excellent endorsement.
I said an endorsement. I posited that I like it a lot.
There you go. Nice throwback.
That's word of the day.
No, so I am an honest convert, even though they are sponsoring the show. Thank you guys. That's awesome. But I am legitimately, having used it now, I'm glad they sent it to us.
That's awesome.
I am very much on board. I will be replacing it when it breaks, and that's not even because they gave it to us.
And I'm pretty sure, correct me if I didn't read this right, but I think the blades that are in there are also the same blades from the 3.0, so they're interchangeable. But we'll check on that just to make sure.
Hey, it's like PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5.
Kind of,
you
yeah.
get to play the same games.
This would be the HD version of the old school
This
stuff.
is the 4K motherfucking version, as in
Lawnmower
4.0K.
4.0. Go to manscaped.com, and when you check out, you don't have to do anything special. You don't have to use our links or anything like that. But when you go to check out, enter the promo code TWISTED10, all one word, all capital letters.
All letters, no
all
numbers.
letters, yeah, good call. And you get 20% off plus free shipping. It's worldwide or U.S.?
Worldwide.
Worldwide free shipping. Holy shit.
Oh,
so,
and there's a travel lock on it. Sorry, I have the box in front of me.
That's right, there is a travel lock.
You can turn it off so it doesn't turn on your bag.
I've got mine. I haven't actually opened it yet. I'm going to open it, use it, and I want Andrea is hopefully going to hop in studio with us next week and give her live, on-air thoughts about that.
I thought she was going to use it. I was like, next week's going to be the best show ever.
Live on air.
You think Manscaped would like that? You think they'd go for it?
I think they would, actually.
I think they would too. See, they're the perfect sponsor for us listeners because
good job, guys. You guys use that code. People use that code 472 times.
The product is perfect. Their marketing is joking. I mean, it's a play on words and a lot of their ads, and they fit in perfectly with us. So they don't care how we discuss it. Like some sponsors will come in and have a very regimented script you have to read. Manscaped just says, here's some talking points, go have fun with the product, experience it, use it. We want to hear you guys talking about you using it. They fit in with us perfectly, and we're very proud of this. So if you are in the market for a new grooming accessory for your nether regions, then go check it out. Manscaped.com, Lawnmower 4.0.
Yeah, not even just for that though. Like I used it to cut my hair today. So this haircut that you guys are seeing in here was today. I did this like 2.5 hours ago.
Hey Ron, is that kind of why his head looks like a little penis?
Giant dick.
All right, let's take a break. We'll be right back in studio.
I think they play safe bets that I never get this off my chest. But since then I learned better, though it took me forever. Born and raised in a pasture until family disaster. The only other road went straight southern for the East Coast. But ever since that I arrived, all the talk about was leaving, and I could care less about some changing of the seasons. And they ain't never lived nowhere, they thought that it was freezing. They don't know what they believe in. I never change a thing because you see me all the way till the judgment day. In the city, as by the sea, that's where I should be. And if it's drowning, well, I'll be swimming. In the city, as by the sea. I see it's just a big disguise. My friends, I thought they were the best, they ended up telling me lies. I guess I gotta live with what I'm given and deal with my decisions. But I'm tired of people living like it's only their perspective. Tell me, baby, what you think about the beaches I live in. The ocean ain't the place for your bitching and complaining. The song remains the same cause it's up on every station. Oh, Florida sun, wind and rain. Tell me if I should change because I sure love the way that I'm living today. In the city, as by the sea, that's right. I should be. If it's drowning, well, I'll be swimming in the city. Tell me, baby, what you think about the beachside living? The ocean ain't the place for you bitching and complaining. The song remains the same cause it's up on every station. Oh, Florida sun, wind and rain.
Oh,
I never
yeah.
change a thing.
God, you gotta love a little bit of Truphonic.
Man, yes.
I figured we hadn't played City by the Sea in the last couple of weeks because of the extra bonus songs that Josh and I threw in. So
Bonus.
we're going back to my favorite.
Where's Jake from?
I think born and raised Brevard County citizen.
Really?
I think so.
Because and I asked because there's a lyric from this song in particular. He just born in a pasture till family disaster, and then he drove to the sea. And I've never asked him what that really means.
That's a great question. When he comes in studio, I know I've teased that a lot, but look, I really have legit guests lined up for coming in studio.
Sure.
When he does come in the studio, we can ask him that. That'd be cool behind the scenes story.
Maybe I'll ask him off air first. I'll ask him if that's an okay question on air.
There you
is
go.
how I'll handle that, because that might be.
You know what? We did interview him on Living Podcarously. He might have told us that story. Fucking 4
No,
years ago.
This song wasn't out yet.
City by the Sea.
City by the Sea was the last
Maybe
song
he
of
had
the
written
CD.
it, though.
Maybe. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
He may have. I just remember because when we premiered City by the Sea,
It
wrote.
aired. Maybe he wrote it.
It aired
Maybe he had written it by then.
on our show
Okay,
first.
both are right.
Maybe he had written it. Yeah, I think wrote it doesn't sound right there.
Maybe he wrote it by. It's
Maybe-
all contextual, I think.
Maybe he had written it by then.
Maybe he had wrote it.
Maybe he had wrote it.
Maybe they're
Wrote
both
it. Wrote it. Yeah.
Wrote it. Totally wrote it.
Well, welcome back to the Twisted 10. This is Ron's week. Oh, by the way, Manscaped not Mangaped. Manscaped.
Oh,
Not the same site.
wow.
Not the same site.
Do not go to mangaped.com. I am all over that site. You don't want to see that.
Suddenly we don't have a sponsor anymore. No,
we
but,
have a new
they don't.
sponsor, mangaped.com.
Manscaped, 1P, manscaped.com. 20% off. Discount code is Twisted10, all caps. Just
All
as a
spelled
nice
out
reminder. We're
with-
so proud
with
of that.
the
fucking
letters.
sponsor,
It's
man.
awesome. It's awesome. And
Sorry.
what shipping? Don't forget the shipping.
Oh, free worldwide shipping. Yeah,
Big deal.
Good call. All right, Ron, recap us 10 through 6 of your list tonight.
All right, I'm going to recap, but before I get to that, I wanted to talk a little bit about twistedted.com and the merch. Got some fun merch there. I'm staring at the coffee cup there. It looks actually super kick-ass awesome. So that's a
put my
really
bourbon in
awesome
that.
looking. Yeah, put your bourbon in the Twisted Tin. There you go. Your second run of bourbon there.
Great. That's a great sound
That was a
effect.
good sound effect. I don't know if that picked up on the mic.
It picked up. Josh looks at. Yeah, this has been a construction zone down here, so there's no telling what was in that coffee cup that he just tried to drink out of.
That's
Let me see. Was there a bug or something in there? Oh, you know what though? That is extra fermented from the last time you had bourbon, so I'm sure it's probably pretty
Yeah,
good.
you really get
Do
hammered.
it. Do it. I dare you. No.
So you can drink your fermented bourbon out of a Twisted Tin cup at twistedtin.com/shop.
/store, I think. Is it shop?
It says
So, I don't
shop
know.
here on this here little thing.
It's shop.
Okay.
It's totally shop. I don't know. Twistedten.com.
Yeah, I should have made a lunch bet on it because I'm staring at it, reading it. You know.
Doesn't mean it was right, because what's the thing called at the beginning of the show?
What's the thing called at the beginning of the show?
Yeah, where you introduce your show?
The Bumber?
The Bumper.
The Bumber.
The Bumber. Record the Bumber. Okay, so we have been talking about human overpopulation, some predictions, some issues that we will incur with food, with land, environment, et cetera, et cetera. So quickly, number 10 was biodiversity loss in the Holocene extinction, talking about really that we're in the middle of the sixth mass extinction right now due to humans. Food issues and what that looks like, environmental issues.
That's where the genius scientist. More people are
more
going
people
to
going to need more food. Environment, land at number 7, and number 6 was carrying capacity. All right, are we ready for second half of the list? A little different here.
Real quick,
Yeah.
just so you know, Ron, it is twistedten.com/shop.
Okay. So now what I want you to do is you need to go into the post that you sent me and see if I put /shop.
It's
Wait a
right.
minute. Are
It's
you
right.
saying it's like
It's right on the paper?
I thought you were proving me wrong. So why? So you went out of your way to interrupt me just to prove me right again.
Yes.
The again part's a little, that's stretching it. But
Sure.
he
Once
did pretty
more?
right. Bumber? I don't
Bumper?
know.
Once
Bumper?
more? Okay, anyway.
Once more.
I
Reversing back.
posit that you should
Delete
continue
all
with
that,
number 5.
Adam. Delete all that.
It's all staying in, buddy.
all
You made
staying
me
in.
leave that long-ass pause last week. This is staying in.
Yeah. The awkward pause.
Yeah.
Okay, so number 5. All right, sorry.
Number 5.
Second half of the list. Going to talk about a few possible solutions, some specific areas where we might have more problems than others, and some other stuff. Number 5, extraterrestrial settlement.
Oh, okay. Mars.
There you
Yeah.
Various scientists and science fiction authors have contemplated that overpopulation on Earth may be remedied in the future by the use of extraterrestrial settlements. In the 1970s, Gerard K. O'Neill suggested building space habitats that could support 30,000 times the carrying capacity of Earth using just the asteroid belt. And the solar system as a whole could sustain current population growth for 1,000 years. Marshall Savage, 92-94, has projected a human population of 5 quintillion throughout the solar system by the year 3000,
Class 3.
with the majority in the asteroid belt.
Class 3. No, that's would be class 1, though.
What does that mean, class 3, class 1? What is that?
Civilization scale.
Yeah,
The Kardashev scale? No. Is that right?
that sounds right. I thought class 3 was when you were in multiple
No,
galaxies.
no. Class the
Sorry,
denominator? Determinator? No, this is relevant to his topic. I think it's the Kardashev scale.
Oh, wow.
Kardashev. Class 1 means you have the ability to completely utilize the resources within your planet. Is it planet or sun? I think it's your sun.
So that your solar system.
Yeah, sort of. Yeah, you can take full advantage of all the resources that are available in your solar system. Class 2 would be...
So we're not even a class 1 then?
We're not.
Yeah, okay.
I'm gonna look at the
Actually, I
scale.
take that back. Class 1, I believe, is you're taking advantage of all the resources on your planet. Class 2 is you can take...
Where do you guys learn this stuff? They didn't
You
teach
can
this
take
stuff
it-
when I went to school.
Class 2 is you can take advantage of all of the resources and energy coming off of your solar system's sun. And then Class 3, I believe, is exponentially larger. You can take advantage of the energies coming off of multiple suns in multiple parts of your galaxy, I think.
Through a Dyson sphere?
All right.
Dyson
all right.
Sphere? Hey, you
Yeah.
got one.
I
That's
know
fun.
stuff sometimes.
That's a
You
good
got
one.
it.
All right. So since we've gone down this rabbit hole, it is the Kardashev scale.
Kardashev.
You were right. I think you were right.
Of course. He was
Right.
close enough.
A type.
Plug bells for being right.
Damn right.
The-
You don't ever get those, Ron.
The scale has three
awesome.
categories. A type 1 civilization, also called a planetary civilization, can use and store all the energy available on its planet.
Ooh, yeah. Got that one
A
right.
type 2 civilization, also called a stellar civilization, can use and control energy at the scale of its planetary
That shit
system.
is stellar.
Booyah. Got that one right.
Stellar, brah.
Solar system. And then type 3 is called a galactic civilization, can control energy at the scale of its entire host galaxy. So
That's
to
a
be
little
class 3, we would have to have a controlling interest in the Milky Way.
So
And then
we'd have to be the Federation of Planets.
there are 2 extended categories. A
Sort of.
type 4 civilization, it's called universal, can control energy at the scale of its entire host universe. A type omega or type 5 civilization is also called multi-universal, can control energy at the scale of multiple universes and may be able to create universes. So these are...
Jesus, boy, people really think this
That's
through.
God mode.
Yeah.
I mean, it is, though. Yeah, it's...
Omnipotent.
So
That's the
I guess
cue.
5 quintillion humans spread out across the Milky Way would be a type 2 civilization. Or, I'm sorry, spread out across the solar system.
I don't even
Be
think it would be
type
type 2. So the key
that's
part to that
stellar.
is being able to control the energy of that system. So even if we go exploring and start inhabiting other planets and take, we have populations on Mars, let's say we would have a population in Alpha Centauri. That doesn't mean we're any past 1. We're still not able to harness the energy from the suns that are in those approximate locations. So it has to do with the amount of energy you're able to manage. We cannot manage the energy out of Earth right now. So we're still sub 1 as it sits now.
But he's talking about a 5 quintillion population cap living on multiple planets across the solar system.
But he didn't say
and the
anything.
asteroid belt.
He didn't say anything about the ability to harness the energies, though. So that there's a big gap between that many people
Yeah.
and the technology used to classify.
You're talking
correctly
about
in
a
the
certain
Kardashev
scale
Yeah.
where you're harnessing energy, and we're just talking about placement of people because we got so many, it'd be too many for Earth.
Got it. We'll never control the sun, so
No,
by
don't
that
say
standard,
never.
You
we'll
don't think a
never-
Dyson sphere is ever possible?
I mean, if the
I think we would blow ourselves up before that would happen.
Do you think all these apparent all these discoveries of the supposed Dyson sphere, they're just seeing something else and they're wrong?
Every single one of them have been scientifically proven to be something other than an alien object. That's part of the what's the
so these aren't actual Dyson
Fermi paradox. Thank you, Josh.
These aren't actual Dyson sphere, because
none of them
even
have been.
as recent as a year or two, I've seen articles that we discovered another Dyson sphere. I'm like, dude, there's no fucking way.
The most recent one, we found a star that had a blinking pattern of light that was indicative of a structure around it, and then it ended up being like a binary star.
I mean, that's exciting.
I know what you're talking about.
It's exciting when I see it, but I as they just started to discover more and more, like multiple, when I started getting multiple, I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I feel like it's probably something else. It's cool concept, but
Josh, that one we were actually on the same plane as their orbital systems. So what we were seeing is an asteroid field.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Okay,
so it
cool.
was just a constant change in patterns of these asteroids passing in front of the sun. Yes.
it's much more likely, right?
It's way more fun to talk.
It is more fun though to say that. Oh, it's Dyson sphere anyway. So,
by the way, I'll say this again: the Fermi paradox is the most obnoxious theory. No, not necessarily source. It's a great theory, but it's the most obnoxious and the most arrogant theory for space exploration and discovery that I have ever heard.
Good luck.
Because we haven't found it doesn't exist.
Good luck
is not an
proving
answer.
it wrong in our lifetime. That's the problem.
I got
That's why the guy was so brilliant. He's like, shit, man, by the time I'm dead, they'll never fucking prove this wrong.
Well,
I'm going to say it is, have my name on a theory.
Enrico Fermi wasn't actually even the person who published the Fermi paradox. It was one of the other scientists that happened to listen to his thoughts and then wrote it down and gave credit back to him.
Like there was two theories. Like I don't remember what the other one was, but I remember reading something about it that were literally both pondered and discussed at the same lunch table at the same time.
Yeah,
that happened to both be published by other people individually.
Enrico Fermi, Einstein, and one of the other guys on the Manhattan Project. I don't remember the other guy's name, but yeah, that's where this
that's
famous
so cool.
lunch happened.
Fuck, I wish I was to be a fly on the wall at one of those lunches.
Yeah.
Holy shit. Okay, so I'm going to back up just a little bit because we got off a little bit.
We're known for tangenting.
Marshall Savage has projected a human population of 5 quintillion throughout the solar system by the year 3000, with the majority in the asteroid belt. In Mining the Sky, John S. Lewis suggests that the resources of the solar system could support 10 quadrillion people. In an interview, Stephen Hawking claimed that overpopulation is a threat to human existence, and our only chance of long-term survival is not to remain inward, looking on planet Earth, but to spread out into space. K. Eric Drexler has suggested in Engines of Creation that settling space will mean breaking the Malthusian limits. I've never heard of that. To growth for the human species. Many science fiction authors, including Carl Sagan, which Carl Sagan really isn't necessarily he's not just a science fiction author, though. I thought that was weird. They mentioned there. Arthur C. Clarke and Isaac Asimov have argued that shipping any excess population into space is not a viable solution to human overpopulation. According to Clarke, the population battle must be fought or won here on Earth. The problem for these authors is not to the lack of resources in space, as shown in books such as Mining the Sky, but the physical impracticability of shipping vast numbers of people into space to solve, quote-unquote, overpopulation on Earth. However, according to calculations by Gerard K. O'Neill, all new population growth could be facilitated with a launch services industry about the same size as the current airline industry. Virgin.
Yeah,
he's going for it. Elon Musk. He's going to be just launching people into space.
So what you just had there was a scientist debating a logistician. That's what you had there. Yes, it's impractical logistically to launch that many people to control Earth's population. I get it. We have 10 billion people on Earth. You can't launch 4 billion of them in space. It's just impractical. It's impossible.
It's a slow growth. It's just
What's the maximum we can carry in space right now? 5 people on one vehicle? That's the maximum. 5 people per every $90 million launch. You're not going to do a dent in the population of Earth. There's more than that are born in the few seconds it takes to get to the orbit.
He's thinking futuristically using current
technically
current technology and ability. That's the flaw in that thought, I'm thinking.
Eventually we'll have shuttles or space ferries that will not ferries that fly. Ron.
Space ferries.
Yeah,
Nice.
that will take massive amounts
Come
of people
with
to space.
me, held onto my wings.
Until we can break the time dilation issue going between solar systems to a viable other planet to inhabit, not just
Wormhole
Mars
type stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, until we can break that, until we can figure out how to get past that barrier, which might be the barrier you were talking about in your topic there, there's nothing we can do. We have to focus here. It's fun to talk about populating Mars, and Mars is our neighbor, so that's relatively easy. But an Earth-like planet in another solar system, we're so far off from that. We don't have the technology hasn't even begun to be theorized about today that will get us there in 400 years.
One thing is cool though to think is I believe in our lifetime we will see people actually step foot on Mars.
Yeah, I
like
agree
that's
with you.
going to happen.
Oh, yeah.
We might be old as fuck,
but I think what we're talking about is first things first. Let's say you're just going to go populate one planet, Mars, terraforming.
You think it'll be a decade away from Mars landing?
Yeah, I think that could be
just going
fair.
off what
Like
Elon
7,
said.
8, 10 years. Oh, yeah,
I guess it'd be a
absolutely.
little bit more. He said 2035 we'll be on Mars.
Oh shit, we're
So
still. That's
I
14
guess 14
years.
years. Yeah. So I mean,
Hmm.
I have nothing to back that other than his word. But yeah, he said 2035 we'll have people on Mars, and he's also said they're not coming home.
Oh yeah, I think people know that the first group there that goes to Mars,
likely
that's
will die.
it. They'll likely
They will
not
live
ever
there,
come back. Yeah, they'll live there and die there, however long that is.
It is a human death as far as leaving Earth goes.
Yeah.
It's effectively a human death. You say goodbye forever to those
It's
people.
morbid to think about.
Yeah, but I mean,
imagine the mindset of the people
I mean, it's nothing new
who
though.
are willing to take that
Yeah,
journey.
pioneers.
Yeah, like people on the East Coast, and they're like, all right, fuck it, I'm gonna go out west and find gold. They're like, all right, cool,
Nice knowing you.
goodbye.
Yeah.
That's true. You're
That
right.
was it. Here's a shovel.
It's what's the difference?
Don't die of dysentery.
For us now, it's no different than
Oregon Trail.
700 years ago, people saying, hey, I'm going to go discover a new land somewhere, and we never see them again, but they were still, remembered forever for discoveries and whatnot. Or
Thank God for Christopher Columbus. Sorry, I had to.
Well,
Somebody
nice.
had to bring slavery to the Western Hemisphere.
Damn right.
Nice,
So
nice.
I looked it up. I'm sorry. Was that the end of 5?
That was the end of 5, correct.
Okay, I looked it up because I was curious. What actually defines the different classes of civilization?
All right, cool.
Because I didn't know. I just thought it was control of your planet, control of your solar system, control of your
I
galaxy.
think it has to do with energy.
It does. It has everything to do. It actually has nothing to do with managing it. It has to do with how much
harnessing,
how much you use. Yeah. So a class 1 civilization, which is as of what year was this? Oh my goodness. Okay, so this was published by Jolene Creighton. I wish I had a date.
Jolene.
No.
Jolene.
They're going to sue us.
A type 1 civilization needs to be able to control 10 to the 16th watts of power. And then when you go over that...
Oh, so it's not about harnessing.
Yeah.
Okay.
So basically, where that number comes from is a fully type 1 civilization would basically, in our case, humanity would have to have total control of all of the energy on Earth. And that's things like controlling volcanoes, creating earthquakes, generating hurricanes to have solar farms in Antarctica, like total absolute control of the energy systems in our planet.
Okay.
Is where that number comes from. But then it scales 10 to the 26th watts is a type 2 civilization. And there's kind of an abstract on that. They can harness the power of their entire star, not merely transforming starlight into energy, but controlling the star. Several methods have been proposed, the most popular of which is the hypothetical
Dyson sphere. Yeah.
So
just harnessing the power of the star. Like we harness the power of the sun right now.
We harness minuscule fractions of
but
that
we
power.
still take power from the sun and harness it. Doesn't mean you have to harness all of it, but in yours, you pretty much have to be able to harness all of it and actually control it.
The concept of converting the radiation from the sun into electricity does not qualify for this.
Okay.
To Adam's point, it's such a small amount. It would qualify if we had 10 to the 26th watts of solar radiation that we were able to convert.
What about 1.21 gigawatts?
A type 3 is 10 to the 36 watts, and that is considered... Let me scroll a bit.
We could actually answer that question, Ron. This is where Josh and I can completely nerd out. To compare what he's talking about, 10 to the 26th watt, the ability to control 10 to the 26 watts, that is a 10 with 26 zeros after it. 1.21 gigawatts that was referenced in the famous
What
movies.
the hell is a gigawatt? Sorry.
That is, if you convert giga to giga, that would be...
Giga to giga, man. No, sorry. I couldn't resist.
Would you like a black and mild?
Boom.
That would be a 10 with... What would be that, Josh? 13 zeros after it? No, not nearly that many. It would be 10 with 9 zeros after it. So 9 additional spots. So each decimal up you go to add that extra zero. Fair. All right, fair. I nerded out a little bit, but that's fair.
So Doc Brown harnessed half the controllable energy production of a Class 1 civilization to create a time machine.
Just half as in the numbers.
Yeah.
Still, it's so much
By
smaller.
orders of magnitude,
by orders of magnitude changes, yes. But yes, fair.
So type 3 is considered impossible for a biological species.
That's the universe one?
Yeah, that one is 10 to the 36. So
what if we ascend into an ethereal plane?
Well, it's funny you say that.
Ethereal.
So we've gone from having control over a planet to a star, which has resulted in us harboring enough disposable energy to essentially make our civilization immune to extinction. So Class 3 is producing energy and life at a scale and scope to prevent the extinction.
Not really, but the theory of the universe is in another 50, 60 billion years, the universe
post-biology.
Yeah, will actually just die out.
Yeah,
so,
the inevitable
we're not
heat
immune
death.
to that.
All right, so if you want to split hairs, yes, absolutely. If the universe goes up in a ball of flame, everything dies.
Well, I'm
You're right.
taking really good care of myself now, so I'm hoping to be around to prove your ass wrong. No, I'm just kidding.
This is a post-biological era, is what Josh is referring to.
Yeah.
So we change our consciousness into ones and zeros on computers, or some other type of
the singularity.
Yes, exactly. Well, sort of. That's AI, but
that's what they said in Big Bang Theory. So if Sheldon said it, it's true. I'm going with it.
Most of the theories that they talk about in there are
that
spot
show
on.
is so awesome with accurate scientific shit. I love it.
I like young Sheldon, by the way.
I hate that show. It's so boring.
What? It is so good. The little girl is the funniest character in the whole show.
I don't get into that show at all.
And then Kardashev did not acknowledge a Type 4 or Type 5 civilization. He saw them as beyond the bounds of reality because of just what it would take to scale beyond. We can't
like multiple universes kind of thing. Yeah.
Well, that's actually where Type 5 comes in.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
So Type 4 is it is a civilization so advanced and has such control of energy and the forces of our universe that they could live inside of like a supermassive black hole. Could like control that, live in it, and that's how we could like.
I think we really need to get this show talking about more boobs again. I'm just kidding. Oh, I'm sorry. So
what did you say? Two smart guys and a
two smart guys and a F-wad.
F-wad.
Because it's better for marketing than fuckwad.
We should totally spin a new version of Living Podcariously. Two smart guys and a F-wad.
Maybe they should rename the after show that.
Two smart guys and a fuckwad.
You know what? That's not a bad. Council members, if you're there, chime into Discord. Let us know if we should change the after show to two smart guys and a fuckwad. Yeah.
We could do it. We could do the after show, aka two smart guys and an F-wad.
And then each week the F-wad changes.
And then the last one is just Type 5, having the knowledge to manipulate the universe as they please, being able to control the energy of all universes across all time in every direction.
That's cute. That's Q Continuum right there. Yeah. You know he's going to be in the second season of Star Trek Picard.
Really?
Yeah,
as
John
Q?
Delancey. Yes.
Really, as Q?
Yes.
He's in Stargate. I did not know that.
Oh, John Delancey's in Stargate?
I did not know, and he's a dick. I love it. His character's great.
I've seen him in other stuff, and he's almost always John Delancey plays almost exclusively an ass.
Type
character.
Type character.
He's
what is that called?
Typecasting.
Typecasting. Thank you.
Yeah. All right, that was very.
Yeah, I'm sorry. That was just.
No, that's it. That was very
unrelated.
No, very related actually. Very related.
Thanks, Ron. I appreciate that.
Yeah, no problem. Okay, so number 5 is we beat the fucking death up.
24 minutes of a topic. Yeah. That's a good one.
Jesus, it almost had its own show. Was
I got the dad eyes.
Extraterrestrial settlement.
Did he give you the dad eyes?
He did. Yeah. Damn. Once in a while, Dad gets the dad eyes. God. All right. So number 4, birth regulations.
Okay.
Overpopulation can be mitigated by, God, please don't let there be some fucking scale that we're going to talk about for 30 minutes of this.
Well, if you look back into
The Roe versus Wade scale.
Oh, no, you did not go there.
Oh, I went there.
Oh, I'm just going to read this one real fast and move on to number 3. Overpopulation can be mitigated by birth control. Put a condom on, motherfuckers. Some nations, like the People's Republic of China, use strict measures to reduce birth rates. Religious and ideological opposition to birth control has been cited as a factor contributing to overpopulation and poverty. Sanjay Gupta, son of late Prime Minister of India, Indira Gandhi, implemented a forced sterilization program between 1975 and 1977. Officially, men with 2 children or more had to submit to sterilization. Hell, me and Josh did it.
Wait
we
a
were
minute.
Like, fuck it.
They got it for free?
Good.
I'm about to go spend $700 on this shit.
But they would go to India.
Go through your insurance.
Go back in time to India.
Yeah.
But there was a greater focus on sterilizing women than sterilizing men. Some unmarried young men and political opponents may also have been sterilized. Could you imagine? You lost Trump. You're
castrated.
You're castrated. That's
we would have
horrible.
a very different country.
I would say so.
It would look like ancient India.
Yeah. You know, in America, I hear if you lose the election, they cut your balls off. Hopefully, those balls were manscaped. Promo code Twisted10.
You almost got that perfect. That was
Damn,
a
good
insertion.
Fucked it up.
That's what she said.
This program is still remembered and criticized in India and is blamed for creating a public aversion to family planning, which hampered government programs for decades. Another choice-based approach is financial compensation or other benefits, free goods and or services by the state or state-owned companies offered to people who voluntarily undergo sterilization. Hey, get your balls cut and here's a free iPad. Such compensation has been offered in the past by the government of India. In 2014,
they have 1 billion people, don't they?
You know what kills me is you hear about all these, yeah, they do, like 1.2. You hear about all these.
I missed the joke. Josh is giggling.
I stepped on him again. Yeah, I stepped on him again.
I'm so used to it. I didn't even notice it.
That's funny.
Say something significant and I'll listen.
1 billion people in India. That's pretty significant.
1.2 billion. Yeah. So the countries that have all these really and have gone through all these really extremely restrictive things are the countries with the most out of control populations. Yeah. China and India. In 2014, the United Nations estimated there is an 80% likelihood that the world's population will be between 9.6 billion and 12.3 billion by 2100. Most of the world's expected population increase will be in Africa, which we're going to get to, guys, and Southern Asia. Africa's population expected to rise from the current 1 billion to 4 billion by 2100, and Asia could add another billion in the same period.
I'm sorry, I want to make sure I understood that right. Did you say that there are presently 1 billion people in India and 1 billion people in Africa?
Correct.
Holy shit.
Yeah, imagine out the additional land space that Africa has compared to India, and they have the same
billion.
Well, there's like 1.2 billion in India. I think we've talked about that before. That's why I think I remember that number.
You know, actually, I want to put a request out to our listeners. So by continent, as I'm sure you guys know, India is our number 2 behind the United States. So if you are one of our Indian listeners, maybe we're off base. I'm not saying Ron's wrong, but like what you said, some of that culture still exists. Some of that like leftover optional, maybe not forced sterilization, but like optional.
Well, no, I think it's more, there's an aversion to it now because of what they did back in the 70s.
Damn.
It's like people really have like, are kind of like gun shy about it. It's like it's a sore subject that no, you're not making us do all that. We dealt with that shit in the 70s. You're not fucking sterilizing us and all that shit.
Wow,
so it makes it harder for them.
It's actually considerably higher. This is 2021 demographic information. China is 1.4 billion.
Okay.
India is 1.38, so almost 1.4 billion
so they're
as
almost,
well.
They're almost the same.
Guess who number 3 is?
Number 3?
Interesting.
The United States?
It is United States at 330 million. There's think of that disparity gap.
That's a big gap.
It's a 900 million
gap,
3 times the population of the United States.
This is really interesting. And this is, I won't go into this too deep, Ron, I promise, but it's kind of what I told you last night, Ron. Density
and you lied,
and then you did it anyways.
Person per kilometer squared. So basically, it's per square kilometer. So how the density In China, it is 153 people per square kilometer. In India, it is 464 people per square kilometer. In the United States, 36 people per square kilometer.
Big
much
difference.
Much better. So what I wanted to ask though is to our Indian listeners, is there a relic of that culture? Do you have an opinion? I'd be curious to hear, would you get an optional vasectomy? Let's just say all the boxes are checked, you're married, you got the amount of kids that you want, everything's healthy, happy. Would you get a vasectomy? Or is there a cultural stigma to doing so now that would make you avoid doing that? Because, like your peers might judge you for it or say, you gave in to the man, you got your balls snipped. Like, is that so? Seriously, honest question. I would love, show at twisted10.com. I would love to hear that. Is that still a thing? Is that a cultural oppression? Is that the right word?
Emasculation.
Or you could go quicker too if you want to go on Twitter. Tweet me at Ron Canniff TT, as in Twisted 10.
That's easier.
Oh,
yeah. There you go.
There we go.
There you go. Plug bell for my Twitter thing.
Nice.
So you can tweet me. My DMs are open. Slide into them if you want, or you can just hit me up right on the thread. I don't care.
Or show Ron through your DMs any vasectomy photos. Just send them directly to him.
Pictures.
Only Manscaped ones, please.
Nice. There you go.
Good. That was good.
Yep. Okay, so that was number 4, which was birth regulations. Number 3. Now we're gonna just give a couple little facts here. Get into some fact stuff. Median age increase. Just a quick little blurb on this one. The world's median age is expected to increase to 42 in 2100. That's crazy, right? I mean, I would have thought the median age was way higher, but we're talking about the world.
Worldwide, yeah. That's considerably
in
different.
2100, up from current 31. It's like these are fucking caveman median ages, right? And from 24 in 1950. Man, there's some horrible mortality rates in other countries to throw these numbers that low.
So that doesn't mean that the average age of death was 40, 31, whatever those numbers are.
No, it means the
infant mortality rates are
the
so
current
much.
age, average age of the population is really what it means. It's not the average
I misunderstood
age
that
you live
completely.
Yeah, no, it sounds like it, but the median age is just current age of population, meaning that it's going to be more and more of an aging population because people are living longer and then you have just an older population. The population, in essence, is getting older. That's just what it means. It's just getting older. More old people. And holy shit! I thought you pushed the button.
You did that so good.
I was like, did he just do that with his fucking mind? The singularity. He achieved it here.
That's my drop. I don't need buttons.
I don't need fucking buttons. Would you like a black and mild?
I can't even push either one of them now. Fine, guys. I'll just delete the buttons.
We don't need your fucking buttons. Badges. We don't need no stinking badges. But what the hell was I even talking about?
I don't know. Number 3.
Yeah.
Median age per country.
Yeah, median age, just average age. So the population's getting older. There's a reason for that, and you won't believe, number 1.
Science.
Yeah, science! Between 2020 and 2100, the number of people ages 80 and older is expected to increase from 146 million to 881 million.
Holy shit.
Starting in 2073, there are projected to be more people aged 65 and older than under age 15. The first time this will be the case, so 2073. Contributing factors to the rise in the median age are the increase in life expectancy, and I'm not going to tell you what it says there because I don't want to spoil it.
Oh, I see. Is that number 2 and number 1?
The reasons for this are,
okay.
in life expectancy and something else, and I don't want to spoil that one.
Cool.
So, there you go.
I've heard it said that the first person to reach 200 years old is alive today. Not who it is, not like a specific thing, just
Robin Williams and Bicentennial Man? Oh, sorry.
Would have been nice.
Oh, yeah. He's dead, Ron.
Oh, good point. Well, Bicentennial Man lived to be 200. Was it 300? What, Bicentennial Man?
I've never seen the movie. I don't know.
100?
I don't know.
Bicentennial
would be 200. But...
I was waiting for him to pick up on that. Bicentennial Man, was it 300? 400?
I'm surprised you as big of a Robin Williams fan as you are. I'm
fucking fantastic movie.
There's a few Robin Williams movies I haven't
seen.
So
good. Oh, you got to see it, man. So
I might have to do a particular episode on the top 10 Robin Williams movies.
Robin Williams?
Oh, yeah. That's awesome. Since we're getting super specific in this show right now, Might as well.
Yeah, why not? It's fun.
Yeah,
My
I like
list,
it.
I'll do what I want.
No, exactly. I like it. It brings in more people.
Hey, Sublime got some good conversations last week.
Absolutely, and it should have. Definitely. It was a good show. All right. So, number 2.
Ooh, number 2.
Africa. The rest of this century,
Toto?
between 2020 and
There you go.
between 2020 and 2100, Africa's population is expected to increase from 1.3 billion to 4.3 billion, which we discussed.
That's amazing.
Projections show these gains will come mostly in sub-Saharan Africa, which is expected to be more than triple in population by 2100.
How the fuck is that the case? You might go into it.
The regions that include the United States and Canada, Northern America, Australia, and New Zealand are projected to grow throughout the rest of the century too, but at slower rates than Africa.
Why? What's causing Africa to have this prediction of amazing growth of population?
Africa is projected to overtake Asia in births by 2060. Half of babies born worldwide are expected to be born in Africa by 2100, up from 3 in 10 today. Nigeria is expected to have 864 million births between 2020 and 2100, the most of any African country. The number of births in Nigeria is projected to exceed those in China by 2070. Roughly a third of the world's babies are projected to be born in Asia by the end of this century, down from about half today, and from a peak of 65% in the 1965 to 1970 period. So Africa,
Did they talk to why?
This does not
Who's
speak
the
to
source
why.
on that? Because that's actually something
This
I'm
one
gonna
was
take back.
that one was particularly Wikipedia. I got that one from Wikipedia.
Where are those predictions coming from? The Wikipedia cites everything, so I'll pull up that article.
This one said it was in parentheses. It was something from the Pew Research Center report. So Pew Research.
Pew, pew.
Pew, pew. Yeah.
It'd be better if it was from the Skeet Research Institute.
From the Skeet Institute. Nice.
You got it. You see what I did there?
Yes, I definitely did.
All right, good.
So, yeah, there you go. So Africa is looking to have an explosion of population over the next.
I see what you did there.
Over the next. I don't know what I did there.
Explosion.
Oh, you were talking about Skeet again.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, gotcha. So they're.
Sorry, I'm off tonight. I
Good one,
apologize.
boss.
Yeah.
Damn
Nice.
it. I got
Nice.
a Tilliode.
All right, so that was number 2.
That was number 2. All right, number 1 we've been waiting for all night, Ron.
Yes.
You better blow our pants off here.
Number.
I mean, like literally, come blow me.
Skeet. Oh,
Or
sorry.
just take our pants off and blow us. One or the
Okay.
other.
Which is
but
just as long
pants
as
are coming down.
As long as you're manscaped. Okay, number 1.
He's doing it well.
Yeah, we saw the pile of hair on the picture.
Josh's balls have fallen out of
number
his shorts
1
4 times, but I wasn't going to say anything.
which I labeled number 1
You ignored
myself.
me again.
I did, because I'm just trying to get to number 1. The show's been going on like 14 hours now with y'all on your fucking scales. No, number 1, but is all this really an issue? For the first time in modern history, the world's population is expected to virtually stop growing by the end of this century. I know everything I just told you.
What?
Everything I just told you, but there is one.
There is a twist tonight?
There is a twist tonight. There is one particular reason why.
COVID.
Due in
Soylent.
large part to COVID. No.
Oh, that's awful.
Due in large part to falling global fertility rates. According to a Pew Research Center analysis, according to a Skeet Research Center analysis of new data for the United Nations, by 2100, the world's population is projected to reach approximately 10.9 billion, with annual growth of less than 0.1%, a steep decline from the current rate. Between 1950 and today, the world's population grew from 1 to 2% each year, with the number of people rising from 2.5 billion to more than 7.7 billion. That was from that period of time, by the way, from 1950 to now. The global fertility rate is projected to, and this is the big one, projected to fall below the replacement fertility rate. The replacement fertility rate right now is you have to be 2.1 births per woman. By 2070, it's going to actually fall below that. And by 2070, and then 1.9 births per woman by 2100. So we will actually be below the replacement rate by 2100.
That's good news.
The replacement fertility rate is the number of births per woman needed to maintain a population size. So 1.9, that's pretty much 2. Good job, Josh. 2. Got sterilized. Good job,
Yep.
Ron. Adam, stop fucking having babies. You're fucking up all these numbers, man. What are you at now? 5, 6?
7?
No, you're 4, right?
Legitimately claim 3 of my own that I've
biologically 3.
There's probably a couple Adams running around.
Yeah, biologically 3 that we're aware of.
There's a few Bolivian kids that look like me,
and
I
some
think.
others that you have had incorporated over the years, like blended.
Yeah.
That you've fathered. You've
I didn't father them, but
well, when I say
raised
fathered,
them.
I mean raised. That's just what I mean. So
Adam loves kids, man.
So really, again, all this stuff that we're worried about right now, and I think this is I don't want to get, I guess we don't get into a super long discussion about it.
That's what we do.
But my son came to me. God, I hope I'm not repeating something I repeated on a previous show. I don't think I am. It might have been like an behind the scenes talk or something. My son came to me and had this whole thing about, and it's kind of how interesting how this relates. I'm going to segue it all and put it all together for you. We started talking about mass shootings, right? And how he said, that's just going to keep getting worse and worse. And it was interesting because he touched on something I had just read the day before, coincidentally on Twitter, about the amount of people, males and females, who, and this is just for the United States, so I'm not going worldwide, but it all makes sense, who are without any kind of relationship or sexual contact at all much later. Right now, in this country, kids are going way later and not having sex, not having physical relationships, way more so than before. Like we're talking like well into their 20s on average. Like 33% of men have not had a sexual relationships by the age of 24. I mean, that's the number is getting more and more and more. And my son related that to, and they're seeking relationships. That's a problem. These men are seeking relationships, but they're not able to get them because of societal issues and this, that, and the other, a bunch of different reasons. But it also goes into the fact that people are just having, in our countries and in civilized countries, I don't want to say civilized, in what's the word I'm looking for?
The better countries?
No, first world. What's the word I'm looking for? I don't want to say civilized because that sounds wrong. Because where I'm going with this, when I say civilized, in more, I don't know, modernized countries, technological countries. I'm not. There's a word in there that I'm missing, but they are having less kids. They're having kids later, so they're, you know what I mean. They're having smaller families, except for a bunch of different reasons, economic reasons, social reasons, everything. Obviously, that's not necessarily taking place in Africa in some areas from what we can see from the numbers, but that is having a serious impact on the world's population. Just that trend, that trend is definitely having an impact on the world's population. It's really slowing the growth. So there was some numbers just for like the United States that like shows a serious like slow growth. Now the population will still increase in size because the median age. It's why I put it in there. The median age means more people are living longer. Population still grows
because they're not having kids.
But the replacement,
so much for Social Security, I guess.
But the replacement,
Oh
yeah, you're gonna have to pretty soon. It's gonna be eventually to save it. They're gonna have to be like 72, 75. You have to work till you're like in your mid 70s. But it was just interesting that how kind of tying that all together and how all that. But the fertility rate is actually going to drop because it has been dropping steadily, big time in the last recent years. It is actually going to drop. Now, my thought process is, what if society changes? What if social trends change? What if things change that ramps it back up for some reason? I guess that could happen. But the trend line says no. The trend line says people are having smaller families, less children, to the point where it's going to be below that 2.1 number.
I didn't get that memo, Josh.
Clearly.
Boom. Fuck you guys.
So anyway, yeah.
No, so relating this to my own life, we talk about the team often. And the team's probably 40, 45 people in all. And thinking about everybody who even remotely associates with our group, there's Adam and I. There's one of the other girls, one of the guys from St. Petersburg, and that's it for people who have kids.
Oh, yeah. And the average age in the group is what, 27, 28?
Yeah, somewhere in there. Late 20s, early 30s for most of us now.
But the team, by the way, is a group of, like-minded people that kind of share. It's a cult.
Yeah, it's a cult.
They do have a lot of sex. So
we are, as a group, very not together. We're not as a group. We're not sexually active as a group.
Best orgy ever.
I mean, there are a lot of beautiful people in the
You should
team.
throw it out there just to be like, we're doing this next summer.
I looked up
See
how
where it
many
goes.
people does it take to start a cult. It says you only need 2.
Nice.
That's all you need. 2 people can be a cult. Like
Nice.
me and Adam could get together and start our own cult.
Who's
of
the leader?
Some sort. Oh, you are for sure.
I'm the leader?
Yeah, we need the smart. Hey, what was that thing where it was a different society? Whatever the one where the smart people lead, that's what ours is going to be.
You're getting castrated, and Jackie
futarchy?
is part of my harem. That's
Okay.
that's what's going to happen.
Yeah, that sounds right. Was
Okay.
that the
That's cult leaders
futarchy?
are supposed to have sex with all their wives
Yes.
of the members, right?
That's why I'm
Who
in
do
charge
I-
of the cult. Wait, what?
Hey, and who do I have sex with?
Nobody, you castrate yourself.
Yeah, you're
It's
out.
a ritual.
I had to castrate myself?
Yes, in
so
front
just
of us.
having a vasectomy wasn't good enough?
No.
Not
Can
for
I-
not for your cult.
Can I manscape first before I castrate?
Manscaped
You have to
before
you
castrate.
castrate.
That's our
Yes.
fucking slogan.
Ring the bell. Hit the bell.
Manscaped before castrate.
Yeah,
on
there you
Twisted
go.
10.
Wait, it sounded like you said man straight. You did. You totally said man straight.
You gotta worry. You gotta look out for that menstruation.
Yeah, maybe.
We have fucked up Manscaped a couple times tonight. Manstraight was one of them. What was our other one? Mangaped.
Man, man, that was a big faux pas.
That was a big one.
We're not getting this contract.
I don't think they're going to sponsor us. Next week, our sponsors are
Thanks
gone.
for the Clippers, guys. It was. We'll
Nice
still
knowing
talk
you.
about you,
Yeah,
but
we'll still talk about you.
man, that was fun. That was a cool list.
Yeah,
That was,
just-
That's fucking awesome, Ron.
Yes.
look,
You
know,
love those existential style lists, the things that talk about,
the great part is I don't even know what existential means, but I do love those
You
lists.
do, too. You
Yeah,
did a
I
list
do.
on it.
I'm just
Oh,
fucking
okay,
with
all
you,
right.
yeah.
So you did a whole Twisted 10 on it.
Yeah,
say-
I have a lot of doom and gloom lists sometimes, don't I?
That's good, though. I like that.
Yeah, definitely.
That's
but,
your niche here.
But
So,
wasn't number 1 like kind of refreshing to think? Maybe it's not as bad as we think.
all number 1 was the movie Idiocracy. That's what you're telling me.
I mean,
That's kind of what happened there.
I mean,
Less
I don't-
technologically advanced civilizations around the world are still having
People are
population
still
growth.
having sex.
They're still doing
That's
it
a
and having
song.
Was that
kids
Life of
where,
Brian?
according to you, the more technologically advanced, assumedly to be more educated, are waiting longer and having less children. So that is literally the
the
premise
more
behind
industrialized society.
Yeah.
You know,
Idiocracy.
when I think about it, the people we're worried about offending aren't listening to our podcast.
the movie. Yeah, well, I'm not worried about it offending. It's just, and if you are offended, it was Ron's list.
Yeah, that's true. It was Ron's list. Yeah, tell us about it though on Discord.
I mean, we did talk about India a lot, but just their population in general. I don't
They're
think we
also-
said anything offensive.
they're a first world country.
Oh,
very,
absolutely.
very population
Yeah.
dense, but they are
yeah,
first
they're
world.
definitely a first world country. China as well.
They are, yeah,
Very much so.
Very much
Yep.
so. They control the first world countries in a lot of ways.
Yeah, yeah, they do.
They manufacture the first world. It's really what it is. The first world comes out of China's manufacturing towns.
China.
All right, awesome.
That was
Good
cool,
list,
man.
dude.
That was fun.
Yeah, I enjoyed putting it together. I thought it was going to take us through some progression of what the world would look like every single year. But when I, in the middle of it somewhere, came across number 1, I'm like, well, putting the brakes on that and going to do some changing of what that list looks like. And then I'm up again next week too.
Do you want to go 2
You
weeks in a row?
want to be.
I absolutely do.
If
I do
not,
wanna
let
be.
Josh, because Josh would be next, right?
It's you.
No, I'll go again.
It's me.
Yeah, I did mind-blowing facts last week.
No, I did Sublime last week.
Yes.
It's me next. Yeah,
It is you
All right,
next.
cool.
Well,
Let us
you
know on
guys-
Discord.
I'm ready. I can
You
go
got
next.
2 weeks. No, I'll go next.
Okay.
I'll go
Fine.
next, and then
Either
you
way-
guys can rotate off a couple times, and then I'll go again.
Sure. We'll have a couple of guests in that mix
maybe a
too.
while before I go. That's exciting.
No, you're next week for sure, but
yeah,
it might be.
I meant
yeah.
after next week.
That was
I-
the most confusing for a listener to absorb. Like, what the fuck are they talking about?
Who cares?
Who's
Who
on
cares?
first? Who's
What's
on
on first?
first?
Second?
You
I
know
don't know.
what?
Third base.
Just want to throw a thank you out there again to Clayton. This mixer does so much. We get loud in studio sometimes, and our old mixer was great. It was a fantastic device, but it didn't have the traps and the gates that this thing does. We can yell as loud as we want to into the
And
microphone, and
yeah.
you're not going to have your speakers blow
It
out in your car.
retards our voice.
Yeah, absolutely. It does. It
done.
brings us down. And it gives us a little...
That's horrible.
You almost did it. You almost did it, Ron.
Damn it, Ron.
God, that's bad.
So Clayton, again, thank you for the hookup on this Roadcaster. It is awesome, and it allows me to do fun things during the
Would
show.
you like a black and mild?
like this?
Well, apparently
And
the only
next
2
week,
buttons. he
No,
has.
no. Next week I'm adding Hemp's.
What
What down, Joe?
Yeah, what down, Joe? In
What
there.
down, Joe?
So hopefully we can get some good sound bites from future guests.
If you want to know, it was kind of like maybe somewhere between 6 and 10. The second half of the show, right?
So
to narrow it down,
it's from the first half.
I asked him, like, what if I'm going to one of these places and I kind of meet eyes with somebody?
It was
what do
definitely
I say?
the first half,
yeah. And he's like, okay, you just like, what down, Joe? You know, and he said some other bunch of stuff too that I don't remember.
It was, you just say, hey, what down, Joe? I'm just trying to get a plate, man.
He's trying to get a plate.
Trying to get a plate.
Trying to
get a plate. That's awesome. I like that expression. What down, Joe? Just trying to get a plate.
All right, Ron, here's your assignment. Somehow in the next week of your career, use that expression and see if you can get away with it.
What down, Joe? Just trying to get a plate.
Yep.
Yeah. I should have used it today because yesterday we had Cinco de Mayo, like a little celebration, and we had some food, but I had no idea. And like I repackaged this food, I labeled it, I dated it. Not that we couldn't remember the date because it was 5/5, but I still dated and everything and put it in the fridge and had no idea. My manager went right behind me and took it. So I said, hey, I'm gonna have that for lunch today. You know, it was rice, black beans, and chicken.
I did know that. I saw it.
Yeah, not so much. You did know what?
You asked if I knew about your lunch, and I said, yeah, I knew.
Oh, how did you know?
I was just playing into your weird rhetoric. That's all.
Okay. I was like, what? I'm really confused.
I'm there for you, man.
Did I put it in Discord?
Yeah. So that would have been a great time for when I found out that he did that today. I've been like, what down, Joe? Just trying to get a plate.
No, I mean, if someone takes your food from the fridge at work, the correct response is, what the fuck?
Yeah, I was like, dude, no one ever eats leftovers here. I was like, you're right, but I had actually planned my lunch. Like my
wait a minute, he justified it?
Yeah, my calories and everything around this lunch. He goes, no one ever does. No, he's right, though. We're the worst. We have big feast, and no one eats it, so I think he gave it to I don't think he took it for his home. I think he gave it to somebody.
Your boss might be the nicest, most generous, giving person in the world, but if you take a fucking lunch out of a community refrigerator, you get a spork in the eye. All right? I don't care who the fuck you are.
Yeah, there's drugs in my next set of leftovers. That's what happens.
We had one guy
man doing coke in the next room.
Laxatives.
We had one guy, short quick story before we close out the show. We had one guy at the place, Josh, we used to work together in Melbourne, that was notorious for stealing people's food out of the community refrigerator.
Rat him out. What's his name? First or last?
Oh, you know
Never
what?
mind. Don't worry about it. I saw that face. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, he saw my Adam's memory face.
That's fine. I forget.
He was a logistics guy. He worked in the same office area as, well, whatever. Long story short.
He could be talking about you, Josh, for all we know.
I didn't. Yeah, it could be.
It happened so frequently and so often, it became an HR issue. Like, no joke,
shit.
An HR issue. HR had to get involved to tell this guy, stop eating fucking people's lunch. Like, it wasn't even like leftovers. It was somebody's lunch that they brought for themselves that morning, and he would eat their lunch or go through it and pick out what he wanted, like a thing of Jell-O.
Beyond fucked up.
He justified it to the point where HR had to write a fucking policy against it
about eating people's lunch.
That it was a offense that could be reprimanded in his career.
Was it 450 pounds?
No. It wasn't. No, I know you're thinking Rex, right?
No.
Oh,
but he was also larger.
Dox him right out about being a fat guy named Rex.
No, I mean, oh no, you're thinking the other. Yeah, no, not him either. No. This is before both of them. Well, whatever. Long story.
What down, Joe?
Just trying to get a plate.
There you go.
All right, let's get out of here. Ron, fucking great list tonight. That was a lot of fun. I hope. Dude, your lists are so like fucking out there. These are I'm enjoying these. I hope your next list is just as good with your object that you're bringing into the studio.
It's an absolute off the wall. Oh God, I'm writing it as I go. It's beautiful. This is just an off the wall fucking list.
You know how many people laughed at that?
Totally off
just
the wall.
Ron. Just
one. Yeah, but when I reveal the list for
top
next time,
10 things Ron has stole from Applebee's restaurants.
But you know what? Somebody right now is listening to this. And the next show here sometime in the future is already sitting queued up in there.
So they know what it is.
And they're going to look at that title like, oh, brilliant.
Man, I have a less exciting teaser, but I can tell you my next list has to do with being incredibly wealthy. But like in a fun way, like we're going to go through some fun thought experiments about having money.
I'm ready.
I want a boat.
That's my boat.
That's my boat. That's Jenny.
Jenny.
All right. Thank you, guys. Manscaped.com, promo code TWISTED10, all capital letters and all letters. 20% off anything you purchase. Use it at the checkout and worldwide shipping for free. On behalf of the Twisted 10, I'm Adam.
I'm Josh.
And to our host tonight who fucking knocked it out of the park,
I'm Ron.
thank you guys for listening. Enjoy your week. We'll see you next week.